It's a tiebreaker day with qualifications of implications for what could be the major coming up. But with all that said, good afternoon, everybody, and welcome into day 4 of the Challengers Elite Series for the final season of 2022. I'm Spaceman. Joining me is Ellen, aka Dream Crazy. We're going to be bringing you through the action today, of course, starting off with Europe. But the interesting thing, Ellen, is that a lot of these teams are fighting either in tiebreakers or to solidify their spot in seedings going into week 3, which we know, given the standings, is a huge deal because, well, we expected some teams to be at the top, some to be at the bottom. Things have flipped around, but talk to me a little bit about what today means for these players.
Well, as we know, this is the last day to secure in that top 4 playoff spot, and it's just interesting to see with the European side of things that we do have a 6-way tie. So obviously what this means for these players, even with this, you got to win essentially every single game, try to take every single map that you can, because this is the day this is the last day. This is it.
Yep.
This is their chance to lock in those spots, and every single map at this point matters for all teams as, well, again, we are at a 6-way tie.
Yeah, head-to-heads are different, but you would love 3-0s today if you're anyone from Team War to Rocker Academy. But we'll do them out so you guys don't have to. But let's move on because we have to dive into the schedule. And so far, it's AYM versus Katana, Rocker, and Awoba Bobs. All of these matches, again, being on mainstream, followed by the North American split, which will be 705 versus whatever it takes, and Destroy the Odds versus You Just See. AYM Esports kicking off against Katana Gaming. That's going to be our first matchup here in Europe. This is an interesting one because AYM comes in currently around second place, right? We have a 4-way tie, but when it comes to head-to-heads, they sit in second. They go up against Katana. When you look at paper-wise, when you look at just the matchups if we're doing chess, this is like a one-sided affair. AYM should come in and have their way with Katana, but of all the times to play spoiler, Ellen, Katana have a real chance today to do some damage.
Yeah, I mean, they do, but the chances of it are obviously it's going to be very tough because just AYM Esports, as you know, like they have been beating good teams, and just even last night they did lose to the Invincibles, but however they reverse swept Awoba Bobs, a much needed win for them. So, you know, they beat heavy hitters like Rocker last week. This is not going to be easy for Katana Gaming.
No, it's not at all. And here we go into the maps of the series. And when we talk about AYM and their loss, it was a 3-1 loss to Invincibles. The only other loss this season has been in a Game 5 against Team War, a team that currently sits atop the group. So it's not too much of a disparity. Here's Tuscan, Desert Siege, followed by 3 Berlins in a row. But we're kicking things off. We're jumping right into the action. We don't want to waste any time. Today is a lot about tiebreakers, but it's also about solidifying your seed and or spot for next week's playoffs. Ellen, this is a big one. Not only does it have implications for what could become the major in Boston coming up, but it's the last season. This is the time to do or die. And if you're AYM, knowing you have to catch up to Team War, it's going to be tough. Do you think they can do it on the opening hardpoint?
Yeah, it's going to be a tough one indeed, but I mean, already off of to a strong start. You see, AYM has full control already of P1, and you can see Katana Gaming is just funneling in from that grass side. This is not the hot start that you want to have because you want that ability to be able to shut down the ARs of like Super, who has been playing phenomenal all throughout this stage already.
He certainly has, and you just look at the slaying power that AYM brings to the table. You got a multitude of different ways they can beat you inside the hardpoint, but it really comes down to what the AR can do on the other side. We've talked about that all season long, all year long, for the past decade. It's going to have to come down to Ross J. We saw him last week, last time they were on mainstream, and well, it was a bit of a slow struggle, but they did manage to pick it up near the end of some of the hard points. We need more consistency out of them so far early on in this Game 1. It is a lead for AYM. They built on it steadily, not too much to contest over it. We go over the rotation on P2. Keza will get shut down early on, pressure through Church, and once more we want to thank Paradox and Prosper for doing what they do best so we can do our job. Those boys are 2 of the best observers in the business, and we thank them for being on board with us today.
Yep, and just as easily for that Katana Gaming on that rotation, a lot of credits to Keza as well, but as AYM, they actually managed to break here through the top Church side, and, you know, big credits to Journey, who right now is on a 3 streak, so that's good scrap time if you're AYM. And Katana Gaming, right here, Spaceman, they have to make the decision. Do they push for this remaining time, or do they go for the rotation? And as you say, they are going to push, but 2 do fall is counts to Super, who is also on a 3 streak as well, but does get taken down by Keza, and now it's just the race for the rotation.
Well, the beautiful thing about being human beings is that we can do multiple things at once, and I like the call from Katana. Give a couple of numbers over. If you don't win those initial gunfights, then you just hit the rotation, and that's what they do in this situation. Though, one of the interesting factors about AYM going into this next hill is I do look at Eric Boom the same way I look at Hixie, right? Where, like, he may not be dropping 35, 40 kills a game, but the kills he does get in the hardpoint, in and around the hill as well, can be so beneficial and or detrimental to a team he's playing against. And I think that's the interesting thing, is these are tough kills, or these are tough outs, and Katana Gaming have to be able to meet that challenge. So far, they do it on the rotation. A couple of nades fly out. You do have Jaqua getting himself into ball, but what can Keza find as pressure mounts on towards the front of the hill? It's all blue in the kill feed. Fudzy trying to stay towards back fountain. You have pressure now pulling in, and Katana, we're looking for the hold, but AYM found the break.
Yeah, and Katana did manage to get some time off of that hill, and a big counts to obviously Fudzy holding the back there with the ARDO Jaqua, who have been doing a phenomenal job. He did actually is a little bit slow this game, but still nonetheless on the rotation it is AYM who do manage to break some of that scrap time, and early Jaqua you see is set up in that back church area awaiting for that rotation through the rooftop side, and Journey looking through the break in the back, but he doesn't get spotted. Ross actually able to take him down, so now that sub help in the back, it's Katana Gaming who remain holding on the church spawns in the back.
Yeah, they've done a good job in 2 hills in a row being able to change some of those back spawns together, but it's come down to these breaks. Eric Boom again with another big 2-piece. He got Yako working in tandem for the third. The hold now for AYM, and look at the pressure they have over at mid-map. Yako working right off spawn to help his teammate, but more importantly, it just seems these individual kills make it so much more difficult for Katana to break in, because once they do get a foot inside the hardpoint, they lose numbers very quickly. However, with 30 seconds to fight over, what are they able to find here? Well, there's one more push, and it looks like for the moment it will be contested before Super, Eric Boom, and Journey all clean up their damage. Jaqua trying to break in. He won't find anything. And with this moment, Katana have to rotate again. So they get a decent hold, but they lose the last 20 or so seconds. It seems to be the routine here for the first couple of hills. What do you need to see that gets changed, Ellen, going into RP5?
I just say they need to win these gunfights and be able to hold, have those abilities to zone forward, because it seems like they just get taken out. And Yako now, who's currently on a 6 streak, awaiting their teammates. It just seems like in a lot of these situations that they're just single pushing, and you see AYM, they're always together getting each other's trades, and doing just that, they're able to break on in, make the hill a little bit scrappy, and then Eric Boom picks up 2. So that is another break from AYM to where Katana Gaming, they're just not able to hold out. So we really just need some of that little bit of the sub pressure to step up Spaceman here and hopefully get those ARs in positioning to set up for plays. But again, with AYM with the break and Super just leading the charge there, 3 streak. He's 14-5 right now. The sub pressure from AYM is just too strong, and Journey gets another 3. Shooting bodies, and the stun comes in, but Fudzy at least able to take him down. Stop the bleeding a little bit, but they have Eric Boom to worry about on the rotation, and, well, that was heavy damage there from AYM Esports on that last hill.
I mean, it was a good 3-stack from Katana, and they were able to shut down Yako, who was working on streaks. But when you have Super kind of blowing the game open and really building upon that lead, this hard point was close up until P5. Now that we go back to our first rotation on our second set of hills, it really does come down to the whole game. Like, it's as simple as that for Katana. If they want to keep this close, they're going to have to make sure they lock down spawns and they get those initial kills. It comes down to the 1-2 punch. Fudzy has one in front. He has to win. He will take down Eric Boom, so that slows the push from mid-map. AYM having to gather the resources now before they hit together as they do now. Journey winning the initial, and now you look for the break, but this is a good chunk of time for Katana. They're building themselves back into this game. They're not getting blown out on this hill, and they have time to win the rotation like they've done before.
Yeah, and the thing for me too, I just feel like they need another sub on the map, because just holding those angles, you see, like Keza had an AR in hand, I believe. Now the sub does come out, but still, I feel like they could have capitalized a little bit on that last P1 hill. So now it is Katana Gaming that do have the rotation, and I mean, AYM just as easily being able to break. Keza is at least able to take out Eric Boom in that top green area, but there's Journey with the trade. So now looking to break here, it is Ross J who gets a huge 2-piece, and now this is the hold. They need to essentially hold this whole time to get back into the game.
Keza with a big break, able to win 1. Rest of his team is still currently sitting in the next hill. You had Fudzy working at the bottom of the fountain, but looking towards radio, pressure mounting, AYM putting bodies in numbers. Trying to hit this 3 at the back. They will start to make their approach. Keza trying to spoil as much as possible, but yet, again, it's the subs from AYM who do find the break. Ross J trying to work underneath. How long will it last? As you see kind of these split gunfights that continue to go the way of AYM, right? We're looking at 1-on-1s, maybe 2-on-1s that eventually trickle away to a blue kill feed. And that lead continues. 190 to 126. Still possible, still absolutely doable for Katana. But they just haven't been able to chain a lot of hills together to build a solid run. We're looking at a couple of money hills that could have gone their way, but regardless, as they continue to win that rotation, it's come down to the whole game, where Super's been able to break 18-8 on 3 spree, looking for his 19th kill in the game, trying to join Yako in that column. And we'll see if Katana can hold on this back fountain.
Yeah, and Katana seems we had a little bit of a split spawn there, so Katana did get that close grasp on, and, you know, a huge couple of key kills in the front, and now Super looking to break as well through fire, and that was a huge 3 from Fudzy to secure this time here, so now he's on a spree, and it's still kind of an awkward angle where, you know, could be taken out with a sub as he pulls it out. Yako takes him down, so that's, again, another break, and at least a hold from Jocko at ult, but seems like AYM is still going to push for this time as they do hit over that 200 mark. Scrap to be won. It's 20 seconds left.
I mean, you can even trace it back to that single gunfight by Fudzy that he doesn't win on the player running down the cut. And even there, they give up the initial pressure in the hard point. They lose maybe 15 seconds, but that 15 seconds does add up when we come to the scrap time. So now you're looking at a one-hill game where AYM can close it out. And for a team coming in that was heavily favored to probably take this matchup just between the conversations we had, and I would assume many people's opinions as well, AYM are the heavy favorites in this one, and an opening hardpoint win would put that much pressure on Katana, and they have to find a way to respond here and now. As Ross J pulls out the MP40, gets it done, flies back down, make it 2. You have a team nade that doesn't help AYM, but this is where you need one of your strongest holds. You got 38 seconds to win, and if they can do it, they're right back in this game.
And that's the sub pressure that we needed from Katana Gaming to push out forward. Ross J had a huge win on that church rotation, and then he followed up with another 2. So now Katana being back right in this, if they can hold this for at least the whole 20 seconds, that'll put them at around the 200 point mark. It's really that race for P5, and you already see AYM just rotating over and getting set up. So now Fudzy, huge battle to be won mid-map. It is one, and then Jocko there on the rotation, but he has Yako still to worry about. He does spot him, but still, that is won by AYM on that map still over here at P5, and now it's going to leave Katana Gaming in a predicament where they have to funnel in through that back church side by P2.
Yeah, well, who gets control of radio first? That's going to be the big thing. And, well, of course, it will be Katana, but can they find the break? You get kind of 1 or 2 more chances, and this one could be done. And with that 4-man wipe, it was the pickup on the sub-pressure for Katana. And as Eric Boom started to slow down, you saw the lead starting to get closer and closer. But Eric Boom right back into the mix of things, looking for his 19th kill will not happen. A potential break. Here come the nades and stuns. 2 fly in. 1 will be good enough. The break on the back, it's Journey underneath, who stays alive, which will just buy time for AYM to come back up for a contest. They can work through this clock. They can work through the 23 seconds they have to fight over. They can just wait. Here comes the push. Journey leading the charge. He gets the break. No one else around to contest. Ross J can't win the foot race in time. If he does, he's met by Journey. Goodbye. It's a game 1 win. 250 to 220. AYM. Get it done.
Ooh, and that was so close too from Katana Gaming. If they just had that sub pressure, I feel like a little bit in the earlier rounds in the first like 3-4 hills, they would have easily, that could have been a different outcome. But right there at the end, Jocko almost had the save pushing through middle, Sean. And that is such an important play when you're breaking that hill, is kind of getting that stairs control. Such a key point to hold. And it was close from Katana. If they held that right there at the end, I feel like they could have walked away with that.
Yeah, Ellen, you're 100% right. I mean, it was even in that swing where it came down to 240 to 220. We felt the sub pressure kick up, and all of a sudden, Katana are back in contesting for the game 1. But it was a little bit too late, and it was that lead that was built continuously by AYM. And I think the big takeaway, Ellen, is the fact that Katana were very eager to rotate early, which was correct because they weren't winning the initial gunfights, but they struggled to hold. They couldn't chain hills together, and in the end, if you can't at least hold for the first 2 waves, it's going to be very difficult to win a map like this, let alone in a situation like this.
Yeah, and of course it helps when you had Super, like at some point of AYM, like you had Yako popping off, you had Journey getting 3s, and Super, I mean, one of the players who has been most consistent, I feel like in Hardpoint, at least I know he's in the top 5, I believe, in the KD. Like Super has just been
nuts.
If you through all year has just been very consistent with slaying and Hardpoint, and you see right here, 24 and 14, he had 22 non-traded kills, and you know he packs a punch. Super punch.
This year, Super has been one of those players that we were wondering when is he going to get the call up to the CDL. Super is that good. Journey as well, and that was going to be the biggest question mark, was can the subs of Katana deal with the likes of Journey and Eric Boom and Yako, depending on who wants to run what. That was a collective effort from both sides near the end. Katana certainly turned it around, but yet again, AYM proving that just the slang that can get them through situations. It was pretty easy for them. They didn't have to work overtime in that hard point. So you see the game 1 going their way for a 1-0 series lead, followed by a Desert Siege for game 2, and then the rest is Berlin. So we'll get into that later. But for now, AYM with a 1-0 lead, going into a potential chance to put this series on match point. It's Desert Siege. I have to think with the way that Super's been playing and just knowing how this team plays S&D, very patient, very poised. Yeah, I think AYM are probably going to get it done in this game too. Ellen, what are your thoughts?
I feel like Katana Gaming, they have the juice, they have the recipe. They just need to put it all together because, they did have the ability to, they did take Team War down 3-1. Okay. Yeah. So like that is a heavy hitter team. And on this specific Desert Siege, I think the only time we see them play it was against Dizzy's Rascal and they won that 6-4. So to the advantage of that, AYM lost to Team War on this map 6-3. So, I mean, you think about that. If they have the ability to win their S&Ds, they could potentially take this to that map 4 because even if they get to that map 4, if you guys remember, they beat Toronto Ultra. Like, that was the very first map they played. And, although Ultra, they did win the next 3, but still, if you have the potential to beat these top teams, you can make anything happen as long as you win those searches, of course.
I mean, the interesting thing about Katana is essentially they either win a series 3-1 or they get swept. That has essentially been their road in season 4. If they can close out a series on the second and final hard point, they probably win the series, but it's been a tumultuous road. On the other side, you look at AYM, yes, they did go the distance against Team War, but a lot of teams have, and they've lost because Team War is that good, and that's why they're currently sitting atop the place. But we look at the last time that Katana were on mainstream, they got 3-0'd by Rocker. It was a tough series to watch. Katana could absolutely take this game too, and then, again, the sentiment comes in. Are they able to close it out 3-1, follow the trends? History says that the way that AYM's been playing, and you just look at not only the current placings, but the way they've just had that pack-a-punch combo of Super and Journey, they have every weapon available to them, then everything they need in any situation you have. I want to know kind of your thoughts, Ellen, going into this game too, prediction-wise, what are you expecting, key roles, players? Talk to me a little bit, late-stage form right now, I think Super is playing out of his mind.
Yeah, no, absolutely. I think that these guys are in top form. They did, well in the most recent cup. And yeah, you did mention that AYM, they did take down Rocker Academy last week 3-0. And when they did that, it was 6-5. So that at least they have, the practice on this. They hopefully, learned from any type of mistakes and they got the VODs to go over. But I agree. Super has been playing out of his mind. And we know, the type of energy that Journey has brought to this team, since essentially, not being on that Minnesota Rocker squad. So I definitely think that this is going to be a hard one for Katana Gaming. Of course, I love an underdog story, but yeah, I agree with you. The odds are against them. I think that definitely AYM, they're looking really strong. I mean, second place for a reason. They obviously they killed it last stage, and I think they're going to take it here.
I just want to get into the game too. I just want to get into the S&D because the beautiful thing about week 2s of the entirety, thank you production, the entirety of the Elite series, for as long as we've been doing it, even as far back in 2019 when this first started, the way that it was structured was week 1 was about finding your footing, was about correcting mistakes. Week 2 was do or die because week 3 is all playoffs. So this is the culmination of a year's long worth of work coming together. This is a culmination of those quick decision makings, who's going to be the biggest IGL in those comms to make those small micro decisions. That's the beauty of week 2, and the beauty right now of these tiebreakers is not only we're close to Boston, we've seen the results from Toronto, we've seen the corrections and the adjustments from Toronto, but now, this being the final season, today is the day to get it all done. So we could be seeing some different strats. We could be seeing some different styles from the likes of AYM, from Toronto Ultra, from Rocker, etc. Teams that are still trying to fight for their spots. I'm very interested to see how this one plays out, if it's relatively standard for the rest of the year, or if it gets a little bit dicey. AYM starting off down a man. Got Eric Boom looking for the response, and he'll find it.
Yep. And the problem here is the bomb is down, and shoutouts to obviously to Keza getting that first blood, and he has been a man who obviously has turned up. If you remember Spaceman, that Gavutu, when he went on that crazy streak, he's just that player that gets it done. So the bomb has been acquired though here, however, by Super. And Brashe waiting, leaves Eric Boom last alive, and that's a full wipe from Katana Gaming. Very clinical.
That's good patience.
Of course. winning that first blood.
It's amazing what happens when you can play a 4v3 off start. So
Really
much more
is.
fun. It is so much more fun. Speaking from experience, it is so much more fun.
You've been playing a lot of ranked play?
Playing
it's not
and
fun in
getting
ranked
owned,
play.
playing and getting owned are very different things. Emma. I am the worst player
I told you, I got you.
on the Eastern Seaboard.
Just let me know.
Which is kind of a shame because Eastern Seaboard has produced some pretty incredible Call of Duty players over the years.
It's true.
Well, looks like it was a counter hit over to A for AYM on the defensive side. However, slow push through mid-map for Katana, and right through the back, Eric Boom can't clean up the kill, but position is now given away. Luckily, you do eventually take down Ross J. Get something out of your work. Yako, bait and switch. Love that. 2v2.
Yeah, and that was a three-man stack, it seemed like, towards the A site. And although, I mean, Super does manage to get down one. Oh, the trade there from Keza, able to close it down. But yeah, there was a little scrambly there towards the mid-map, and it seems like from the defensive side of AYM, they stacked that A side and had one in Palace, but I believe... I was trying to see, I can't remember who got the first blood there, but it really obviously opened that up to just kind of putting them in a peculiar position where, well, if Katana Gaming don't see anyone at B, they know where AYM is. They're all trapped at A. So able to essentially cut down in numbers.
Yep.
Taking that. Seems like they're off to a good start. Get
Be a
that bomb,
great
though.
start if Super can hit a shot. And I mean that like lovingly, like if he can hit a snipe, not get your gunny up, not your funny up. Bomb going down. Journey still looking for his first kill. Keza again finding first blood. Eric Boom's taken a lot of those early engagements. He was able to walk away with 2, but he had not yet been able to escape from a gunfight. And Journey just gets absolutely had bad. How unfortunate. Yako in a 4v2, working in tandem with Super. Bomb is down. Ross J on the collapse, and he's going to stick the defuse.
Yep, and then Keza's going to be the one that obviously worry about. But Super, if he can get this, nope. It is Keza, who is now on a 5 streak, so he's going to need to be stopped, obviously, for those streaks. But it was really just about a retake there. Keza, again, with the first blood, I believe, over on that A site, just slowly pushing over. And Katana Gaming, they just really seem to just do that well, where they're just in trading positions, they're pushing slowly together, but they're taking their time. Playing those long-range gunfights seems to be more advantageous for Katana Gaming over, you know, as kind of we mentioned in the first map, that sub-aggression. So deciding to just play a little bit patient, not really go crazy in bottom palace or university, as some say, that just seems to be the call for them, and it's working well.
Mm-hmm. And they've been able to respond to Eric Boom very quickly in these rounds, which has certainly helped them maintain their positioning. As you look at Keza working over towards the dunes. He's going to spot Journey, put a little couple of shots ring out that will tag, but not enough for the kill. And now everybody stops at the 50-yard line. We'll see what happens. That bomb hesitant to move up. Super able to open it up with the first blood. Looking for the second. Fudsy your carrier. But no one else around going to peek. What do you do here if you're Katana?
Well, maybe try to find a way to isolate that sniper, but you see on the bomb site is Journey there, who has his help. And they know that essentially Jakwa is here. So, I mean, at this point, maybe just try to regroup. And it seems like the bomb is going to shift towards that B side, but they have no idea, I think, that Journey's there. At least Jakwa is able to take down Super, so the sniper is gone. But Fudzy's going to have to get this kill onto Journey on the bomb site, is waiting patiently. It's the bait that comes in and the push, but Journey to be won that and Eric Boom to follow. So now this leaves Jakwa left in a 1 versus 2. 20 seconds to plant, and that AYM at least grouped up together, able to get the trade out in case. And that really just kind of credits out to Super, right? Just pulling out that sniper and just getting positioning essentially and waiting for these slow pushes. Because, yeah, if you're Katana Gaming now, maybe you might need to have to switch up a strategy a little bit, because AYM obviously is going to start to pick up on these tendencies and be able to counter.
Well, as soon as Super went down, you're thinking, okay, the backline's gone, so you can peek without worry for Katana. It doesn't mean you're going to win the individual gunfights, but you're at least getting a chance to throw a shoulder, get an idea of where information's at. But it didn't really amount to much. I was wondering maybe that, that's a round they might want back. However, for AYM, they do a nice job of not faulting on that line, and instead they run into Jakwa's POV. As soon as he pulls down on the trigger, he will take down 2. Super responds with a sniper. Now bunched up at mid-map, but one right around. It's Ross J. Does he hear him? Oh, he might have spotted. He absolutely did. Can't clean up the kill, though. Information certainly there. Katana now have to push. Ross J trying to work towards the site. And he guesses wrong, but he's still alive. COD timing's great. Eric Boom does find the kill. Now they need to get bomb down.
Yeah, and I just don't understand that play either, because you had plenty of time essentially to maybe wait out the plant or at least wait for your teammate to get into a trading position. As you see, Fudzy was on the long rotation around, so he might actually be able to catch one member off guard, but nope. AYM waiting and ready, able to take them down. And yeah, that's kind of a heartbreak if you're Katana Gaming, because you saw Jaqua get that 2-piece. He was tucked away deep in the backside of the map, so just feel like maybe a little bit more patience there and they would have took that round. Sometimes, I guess you gotta just push for the bomb site. You gotta make sure they're not planning.
You also gotta hope the Super isn't gonna jump shot you. We've seen more and more quickscopes this year, which I appreciate. Like, I love that. Big fan. But I'm
Big
just
fan of
surprised.
snipes.
Yeah, huge fan. Super again, first blood.
Again.
Can we get to his POV? Paradox. Brother, I love you. You know me. We've been friends for years. Get over to Super. Eric Boom's gonna cut him down. And that's gonna be the round.
That's
AYM.
fast.
Ellen, what do we always say? What do we always say in S&Ds? What is the scariest round in an S&D? What is the scariest lead to have in any S&D?
The scariest lead to have?
Yes.
4-3?
No, it's 3-0.
I don't know.
It's 3-0.
3-3? 3-0? Oh, 3-0.
3-0
It
and
was
5-0 are the scariest
3-3 on the screen, so I was like, wait, what? Was this a trick question?
3-0
Sorry,
and
that
5-0.
went way over my head. I mean, I don't know. 5-0 could be, I mean, yeah, that could be scary because you could get reversed.
I'll give you 5-1 because that's
5-1.
a little bit more scary. But 3-0 is every single
3-0.
time. It's always
Yeah.
terrifying because it's like, oh, we're in cruise control. Not so much when Super's hitting shots like that. 6-4 might find the next one. And for 3 straight rounds, it's been AYM with the first blood that have helped open up not only the site, but giving you the advantage. Again, Yako running bomb, finding one. What do Katana do?
Yeah, and it just really seems like AYM, obviously, of course, those super snipes have just been insane, but it just seems like they're really starting to capitalize on this low level of play. So, I mean, the bomb does get planted now in Journey. At least the stun check gets out, but there you have it. Yako winning that close engagement against Ross J. Huge, and, well, Fudzy, they know exactly where he's at over here by the A site, and, wow, I mean, you only got so much time, so many resources before you get cut down. I mean, strength in numbers. AYM are just taking it because I feel like they're just really that's what they do so well at this team. They're just so good at picking up on those tendencies of their opponents and just finding ways to counter. And that's exactly what they did, even though despite, yes, like you said, a 3-0 lead is scary, but I mean, you can at least by that time pick up on some of your players' tendencies, your enemy's tendencies, and just counter it.
Alan, it's been 4 straight rounds, and now you got Yako and Eric Boom combined for an 8 spree and Super on a 3. Like, if they get close to streaks, let alone if anybody gets it, this game's probably done. Ross J going to try to cut down Super. He will do so, but Eric Boom does find his 5th. Needs at least 1 more, maybe 2. Well, that is a great nade from Fudzy. And not only is this round important for potentially tying up the game, but it's just big to stop these streaks. You cut down 2. All that's left is Yako. That is a tough round.
Yep. Journey and Yako last alive, and while they do get some information where these players are, but the problem is here is for Katana, they have the bomb is down at A, so they have to find a way to get the bomb and plant. And you see the repositioning from Yako. He gets up top Palace, and he does spot Fudzy over by the palm tree. So Fudzy able to get away from his life, just going to get kind of scrambly, trying to find a player, but Journey does cut him down. So now what could have been a round for Katana, just AYM, just as easily as that, take the lead.
I don't hate the call from Katana at all. They split a little bit too late.
Too much?
Yeah, you're looking for information. You're sending one on a scout, which is fine, but
they had numbers.
Positioning, yeah, it was a little bit too, I don't want to say sloppy.
I think that's fair.
It wasn't as tight as you would have liked.
Yeah, because I mean, Ross J made that play. He's like, okay, you know what? I'm sick of getting sniped by Super. We need to cut him down. He just immediately rushed that train side, and I mean, they had Fudzy. They coordinated their nades. They just didn't capitalize on some of these plays. And I mean, Yako again with the first blood here. It just, you would like to think that they can get some type of control and make it less sloppy. There you go. Keza wins a huge gunfight onto Journey. Now the bomb is down. Katana Gaming now left in a 3 versus 1. Another huge win from Fudzy. Stepped it up this last round, by the way.
Keza just has an idea of where Super's at all times. And yeah, absolutely stepping it up. And well, Fudzy was what, like 2 and 8,
6,
something like that. Yeah, so it has not been the cleanest performance. Certainly, the impact has been felt, but it's been much more of a team effort from AYM that has gotten them those 4 or 5 straight rounds. So in this situation, you will take anything you can get if you're Katana. You slow the bleeding, you make it 5-4. This is anybody's game now. You are working. Now, Keza's like in the vicinity, but not quite in the same room of a streak. If he gets 2 kills in this round, all of a sudden, round 11 looks much more interesting. It's a 4-man hit right up the gut. You got 1 out on an island. It will be Keza looking for information, let alone a first blood, but right through underneath the palace. Rosjay's found first blood time and time again. Keza, Rosjay for 2. Fudzy gets cut down, but it's all 3 dead. 1v3. Rosjay guesses wrong. Super makes it a 1v2.
And there you go. The bomb does get planted, so the aggression play from Katana Gaming seemed to work. Let's see if Super can find a way. Maybe the nade comes out. Doesn't connect. But nope, it's Katana Gaming. And favorable play there. That's kind of the rush that they needed. The play was to just get into Palace, switch up the play style. They went from that slow, like methodical play style of getting those picks to just rushing straight up through the middle Palace. And you saw Fudzy, you saw Rosjay cut down 2 members of AYM, and just from there, you have strength in numbers. So 5-5 game here. And now on the attacking side, it's Katana Gaming. Let's see if they'll follow up with the same type of play.
That's what they did
decide to slow it down.
And it worked. Oh, Super. Beautiful read. Super. Oh, can't land the shot. That's one you do not want to get away. Not only do they know that Super's going to be sitting back, so it's likely going to be a B hit, but defensively, Katana are going to snuff him out. Hit him with some stuns and nades. This one could get interesting, but Rosjay, slow to move. Both teams playing for that opening pick.
And they have to be careful on the stairs here because I think Super knows at least one of them is there, kind of grouped up. They have to figure out and make a decision of what site they want to play, but either you get Palace control or you swing it over to A. Maybe not deciding to play against Super, swing it over to A, but Fudzy getting away with it. Top Palace might be able to cut down at least one member, and he takes down Yako.
Oh, he's pushing out. I would like to see him play a little bit more patient. I don't hate it, though. You're trying to create an advantage underneath, but Journey will make him pay for the over-aggression. Rosjay trying to fly into A. Worry about the boards later. Super. Eric Boom working together. The bomb will go down. Nope, Journey's there. He's right there every single time to make a play, and he stays alive. You have an idea, but as you cross, Eric Boom watches it, and now it's a 2-on-1 for the game 2. Jaqua, 12 seconds to go. He's got to plant, and he won't. It's done. Journey cuts it down on sight, and AYM watch the cross. Shout out Eric Boom for making the big kill. 6-5 in round 11.
Yeah, and from Katana Gaming too, they just really, I feel like, started to switch their strategies up just a little bit too late. Oh my goodness, but just a couple of rounds there, I'm sure they're probably kicking themselves in the foot. But regardless, that was a nice save, obviously, from Eric Boom, and man, a good game that we had there. I really thought that the AYM wasn't going to come out with that one because Katana Gaming, they started off really strong.
They got the first blood in round 11. We're thinking, okay, you got Palace control all of a sudden. It's similar to rounds 1 through 3, but got them 3-0 advantage in the first place. And then all of a sudden, Eric Boom gets in position, Super gets in position, and Journey makes another big play. And as Journey stays alive, something that we were looking at underneath for you know, like Rosjay and company to do in Palace, something they didn't do. Journey stays alive, Eric Boom picks up the kill. Like, that is essentially, that is quintessential what this team's made of, right? Just always being in a position to watch the trade, get the cross, etc., etc. They get it done. Clinical S&D, that's practice, practice, practice. And Katana so close in that round 11, but 4 and 10 from Fudzy. It's a rough game. Not all on his shoulders by any stretch. Team effort, but you have a 3-0 lead. You bring it back to a round 11, can't close it. That's a very tough one to lose.
Yeah, and it really, just like you said, came down to a lot of those rounds where, like, right there at the bottom palace on that last round, Fudzy did get a pick, but like you said, you would like to see him maybe just wait a second and maybe just play a little bit more passive, stay alive, pre-aim something else. But it kind of seems like that in Vanguard, where if you get that first pick, if you continue to just pre-aim, eventually there's going to be a second one trying to push for a trade, and that just happened a couple of times, even with Roche just playing a little bit too aggressive, maybe just waiting a little bit to get them in trading positions. But
Sure.
AYM now up. It's going to be an interesting one to see if they can bring it back.
Yeah, they got a reverse sweep. No ifs, ands, or buts about it. They got to do it in a control as well, which is going to be just as difficult. But until we get to that point, we do have to go to a commercial break. When we come back, we conclude and continue on with the final potential game of this series, AYM versus Katana. See you guys in a minute. Welcome back, friends. Let's get into more Call of Duty. We got Control coming up. We got AYM Katana. You just saw the conclusion of Game 2 S&D on Desert Siege. 6-5, round 11. AYM do get it done. Katana have to feel a little bit heartbroken on the way this series has gone. A close hardpoint, close S&D. A lot of their games have been close today, so far this split, but right now they have to reverse sweep and do it on a game mode that has not been their strong suit. Ellen, talk to me about this team in Control. What do they have to do right now to bring the series back?
Well, when you look at Control in terms of Katana Gaming, they haven't won one. Essentially, they did against Dizzy's Rascals, but we know, that's a team that obviously it's not a heavy hitter like AYM, so this is going to be a very, very hard thing to do. But the advantage is it is on Berlin. It's not like a map like Tuscan. So Tuscan, as to where that pressure that they essentially kind of seem to struggle with the first couple maps, that is kind of the advantage that they have here. It is on a more AR dominant map. They might be able to, benefit from holding certain positions and getting set up on this Control, but we'll see if they can do it. It's going to be very hard again against a team like AYM.
It certainly will be, and that might be the underlying thread of this entire series. It's going to be hard against a team like AYM, but then again, this is the perfect time to play spoiler. They almost did it in the hard point. They started chaining these heals together. The sub stepped up. The biggest problem, though, is shutting down someone like Journey. Like, when he gets going in a series, it's very difficult. We saw it in Cold War. We saw it the year before in Modern Warfare. The dude is hard to stop, but you have to find a way to get in on. So far, it's a 1-kill advantage. Make it 2. Katana doing a pretty decent job over at A. They're able to slow that initial push, but you can just rebuild your resources and numbers for AYM, split those callings, and now over to B we go. Roche trying to meet it with a nade, but so far, looking pretty good for AYM.
Yeah, and Ross J's not having a bad start right now. As you see, he's kind of just pushing forward, and that seems to be the play, of course, in control. If you control this back train area, you can essentially force a spawn warehouse, and you see AYM is doing just that, but they are getting some time off of B, and now that is a huge fight to be won. Yanyako, who is now actually one mid-map and zoning and simultaneously capturing A. So, although the push did get somewhat split, seems like AYM just kind of comfortably capturing over B, and the call from Katana Gaming is just to give it up and let's just get set up. They do have lives in their favor.
You play for streaks here, right? That's all you do.
Of course.
Play for streaks, of course.
If you're Ross, yes.
Just get some streaks, man. That's what I tell my teammates. I never do. It's unfortunate. You got a minute 40 to play with, Ellen. That's a lot of time. The only question is, oh my god, he's going to line him up? Well, he does get the glide bomb, so he answered the call. He helps them with the resource department. 7-0 on a spree. How do you break for AYM? You're going to have to deal with Ross J at some point. They do get one kill through the back, so this could help begin the swing, but it just comes down to winning these gunfights. Finally, they get it. Now you got to play numbers.
Yep, and although they do have this, I feel like with only a minute left, they're going to have to try to send somebody maybe all the way around through fire to maybe cut off the spawn for Katana Gaming. And while Super is distracting through the front, you're going to see Journey kind of take that long way around. And if you see Katana Gaming, they're kind of bunkered in on this hill. You got really only Jocko who's watching the flank, and Super did win a huge gunfight on Dekeza in the front. So if AYM just win these gunfights, which essentially they were one, it is Ross J with a save here. But Eric Boom is on, and well, there you go. A little bit scrappy in the mix, but could have been deadly if you are Katana Gaming. They need to at least have somebody hold the back, or at least zone forward, and Keza's doing just that.
Well, that's what Ross J was doing for the start of this game. He was zoning towards the tracks. It was keeping the pressure out of the point. AYM couldn't deal with him. Once they did, they didn't have enough numbers to continue the push. I mean, it's been essentially a simple math game up until now. With 26 seconds to go, this should be a defensive hold. The Katana Gaming pull off. However, AYM have one more chance, one more potential push. Look at the split spawn. It's going to be tough to regroup numbers, especially towards mid-map, where Ross J continues just to roam and fry at 12-3. He has a glide bomb he will be saving for what we assume would be the attacking side, how much more difficult it can be. Super kills one. And Ross J responds very quickly with 1 second to go, though. They do get in. It's a 2v3. Numbers around. Katana should be able to handle this. Super snuffed out quickly. That's a GG in round one. Katana, very nicely done.
Yeah, and obviously big shout outs to Ross J, who obviously just kept up with that pressure, and they just kept pushing forward that train station. Even in the beginning, even though AYM, they captured B, it really was that Katana Gaming just focused on holding that train, the back train area, and essentially holding that lower side of the map. But I feel like AYM on that, they maybe committed too much resources to like pushing out through the front. Maybe if they just kind of just send people through fire. Like we saw Journey start to do it, but maybe just too much commitment through the front. See if now on the attacking side, if Ross J can maybe continue the streak, because he's about to streak out again.
Yeah, the decision round one for AYM seemed to be brute force through the front, and it just didn't work. However, luckily on defense, you get a bit of time to breathe, and it helps when, you know, you wipe the board. Everybody dies, so you can slow it down. Now comes the secondary decision of, okay, we've gotten the wipe. We know they're probably going to split over towards B. If we wipe him again, that's probably the round. And this is where you let Journey do what Ross J did. Let him roam. Get him comfortable. Yep.
We see Katana Gaming too. They are spawning in that back warehouse side. So, I mean, right where they want them, at least AYM. They do get taken down a little bit there. Katana Gaming able to stop the bleeding. So, at least managed to get some resources onto B. You see Fuzzy able to just kind of capture comfortably here. At least one tick comes through, and the pinch from AYM does come in, but it's Keza who takes down two.
And those are big kills as well, because it's not only just two on the board, but it's towards mid, so that allowed Ross J to hit the extension. Now look at his positioning. He can help out Keza off spawn. Get over towards A. Those are big kills in the heat of the point. However, on the outskirts, you do have a flurry for AYM. They will decap that third tick on B. Got 30 seconds to go. You still have a streak if you are Ross J, but I don't think you invest it here. Now what do you do if you're Katana?
Well, you're going to have to definitely capture B here, and you see there's at least a member doing just that. So AYM, I mean, they've been sending their subs in and getting these kills, but at least Fudzy holding a comfortable angle there does take down Journey. And, well, they still didn't manage to capture it. Well, there we go. Somebody's back on. Super, he might look to try to stop this as... Well, he's breaking through the window, makes some noise, and he actually does win the gunfight, but not before the point was secured. Frost J at least able to take that, add an extra minute on the clock. But the problem is, well, no problem at all. I was going to say Super could have stopped that bleeding, but Jaqua won that huge gunfight to be had.
Yako died too. Yako came off spawn and he went all the way around train tracks to, again, try to prevent that first push from Katana, just to buy time on a distraction. He dies as well, so look at just the real estate that's afforded to Katana through mid-map because of those 2 kills. Now, granted, they haven't translated it into a full push into the point. They still have time. It's working on their side. It's 9v8, but what was a lead for AYM quickly cut down. Fudzy will drop. Jaqua through the back. If he finds Journey, that could be the break they're looking for. And Keza off spawn, taking a wide peek over towards the site. If he gets behind, this is the break they need.
Yeah, Fudzy has to stay alive right here. There's only 15 seconds left, so he has to wait till Keza takes the long flank around. But the problem is that Eric Boom cuts him down. Huge gunfight to be won. And now Katana Gaming only have 2 lives in their favor, and that might not be enough. Fudzy is now the last alive. Not enough time, and a great defensive hold from AYM Esports. And of course, credits to even Journey. They just kept continuing to apply the pressure to Katana Gaming. And, well... it was a great stop there in the end, of course, from Eric Boom, picking up a couple of gunfights with Katana Gaming could have captured right there, but that's where that sub pressure comes in.
And those were good reads by Katana, because that's 2 or 3 times where AYM were more than happy to play a 3-1 hit, where they keep 3 in the point, 1 on an outskirt on an island to take a lot of the early pressure from Katana to pull attention away and make it more difficult to hit as a team. Katana dealt with that pressure early, like 3 times in a row. They're like, nope, that's not happening. We're going to remove you from the play, and we'll hit as a squad. Eric Boom coming up big yet again to make a play.
And I love this play.
Yeah, well, if you're Katana, you can still hold on to that streak, which is nice. But, Ellen, like, what are you seeing early on? Well, before Katana got wiped off the board, what were you seeing that was standing out?
I was gonna say, I love this play from AYM because they're just deciding to just fully commit to A. We know that that's just essentially the harder point to capture, but if you get your subs or your AR set up in the windows, you see Yako with that huge 2-piece nade and Super holding the other side on the outskirts. Like, this is a beautiful push from AYM. So now they're gonna make it very hard for Katana Gaming. Now with A being captured, Katana, they're just retreating over to B and just pushing deep water side to just hold on to map control.
Yeah, like they're like, yeah, no, we're going B.
Bye, we're out.
Well, here's interesting. Yako could be, if he hits the 7 spree, all of a sudden he's got a glide bomb as well. So you talk about a counter streak you could use. That's so big because not only do you get pressure into B, you're playing a 3-on-1. And the only member who's not in is Super. He's so far out. If you don't kill him, it's going to be so much more difficult to stop this progression. But you have a streak earned for Yako. This is a big round number 3. What could be a disastrous fall for Katana if they don't get into contest. Luckily, the numbers at mid-map do help out, and well off spawn, it's nothing but pressure, but Yako through the smoke for 2, for 3, maybe Journey cleans it up with the sub, and just a bit more, and they get it done in round 3. AYM pulled a rabbit out of the hat.
Somebody take down Yako. He is on a 9 streak right now, and what a beautiful hold. I mean, just even the opening entry gunfight, just when he got up on top, just to secure the point. And just off the break, AYM had a beautiful start when they pushed A. They committed the whole entire squad to hold that outskirts of train, and then just flood on through, and just able to capitalize on that. You have strength in numbers, and of course, Yako with that 2-piece nade. It was just so beneficial in capturing A, and of course Super just continuously zoning forward, just making and applying the pressure towards Katana Gaming. Now they're gonna have to attack, and that's just gonna make it harder because obviously attacking rounds are much harder to win.
It is, and this is where you need the streak. If you start losing numbers way too quickly for Katana, I would advise using it here. However, sitting pretty comfortably at B outside of Journey's presence, which he makes himself known very quickly. Yako in a 1-on-1 in the back. Fudzy throwing a bit of shoulders, ring around the rosy. Here we go. Journey able to win the gunfight. Does it slow anything, though? I don't think so. So with all that happening, Katana still in a relatively good position over at B to lock this one up.
I'm not gonna lie, I was really zoned in on that gunfight because Yako was just literally dancing with Fuzzy in the back. But that's what you're just talking about right there. Just the ability from Yako just to play so aggressive and get in your face. And now you see him tucked away deep in the spawn. And this is interesting from Katana Gaming. Like, at least you're able to capture B and get that time. You have 2 minutes to capture A, and Jaqua can set this up for a play right here since he's pushing our app right around through fire. But the streaks from Ross J do come in, but there's nobody at the A site, Spaceman, to push in for at least capture. I would wonder if that streak was maybe just used maybe too early.
I think it could have been, but I also, you know, I don't hate the streak at all, because what it does is it clears out Yako, and then you give Ross J the freedom to do what he's done all game in this control, which is to roam, and you allow your teammates to push into the point. So this was an orchestrated usage of the streak, and then they followed it up with just consistent teamwork throughout. So this push worked out, essentially, and now it just comes down to the gunfights into the point where so far Journey has had his way with this team. But I do think that was a good use of the streak. It just didn't pan out in the long run because they lost the gunfights inside A. However, coming off spawn, if you are Katana, you do have to deal with that mid-map pressure. They've done it before. They used the streak to deal with it last time. Now it comes down to one extra push. It's 18-11. You have the life lead. You got a minute 20 to work with. Surely this is possible. Through the front, it could be Jaqua trying to open things up, but he falls as quickly as he gets in position, and that is so difficult to deal with.
Yeah, and it helps too that Super is on, of course, a 4 streak. But yeah, essentially, I agree with you there. They had to cut down Yako because he was making a mockery and definitely some damage in their spawn. But now it's kind of happening again. You see members of AYM are pushed up. You see Yako again getting set up, but at least they get the call that Ross J did sneak on through. But I don't think he actually managed to get by Super. I think AYM have no idea that Ross J is back here on the stairs, but at least Ross is trying to cut down one member of Journey. He doesn't win the gunfight, and the streaks from Yako come in to again further push Katana Gaming back. Could have been very, very. They could have been set up there for a play, but now they have to commit numbers to the front.
You know, he was the catalyst, but hold on a minute. They're mounting something spicy through the back. Keza is still alive somehow, and Ross J breaks in for 2, so even off the loss of the gunfight, he's able to get back off spawn and get into the play. Time stops. It's a 9v1. Okay, this round's done. Goodbye. Even though Ross J falls, I mean, he's essentially playing 2 lives in a row where he is the catalyst for that swing. You get the bait of the streak. AYM think they have that round locked up, so they lose the glide bomb in the process. Granted, both teams now neutral with no streaks in play going into the final overtime. But wow. That is a round that AYM probably should have walked away with. Ross J making 2 big plays even on his own death. We go to round 5, a lot like how we went the distance in the S&D. It's now up to one final round. On the defending side, it will be Katana. Ooh, this just gets interesting.
Yeah, and that, like, as soon as I said that too, of course, it was Keza and Fuzzy, of course, winning those gunfights in the front and just picking them apart. So that was a huge save from Katana Gaming, of course. And now on the attacking side, you're going to see AYM kind of commit numbers towards A, and now at least awaiting Katana Gaming have 3 members here. And, well, let's see if Journey can at least win these gunfights on the stairs, but it's Jaqua with a huge 2. And, well, Super to follow. He's going to decide to back on down, though, and at least regroup and wait for his teammates.
I was watching Yako spawn. He just dies over towards B again, kind of middle of your minimap. Next up is Journey into the point. You got Super still alive. He is who I would want over at A right now. He's having a terrific game, close to a 30 bomb. With the automaton in his hands, he can absolutely do enough damage just to make it interesting. However, you lose so many lives early on, right? With both the commitment towards A and B. It's 26-22 game. It might not seem like that much, but with 43 seconds to go and how quickly these gunfights have gone, you have to make a decision here. If you are AYM, I think you commit to B at this point. A has not worked out unless this push pays off in a miracle. They have to start making a decision over towards B, because even with Super's heroics, it just hasn't been enough sub pressure into side to maintain this hold.
No, I agree. And there was a huge fight to be won over by Keza. He managed to stop the B push, and he was actually roaming over there for quite some time. So now, I mean, at least AYM had the numbers over towards B, and they do walk on in, stop that clock. 21 seconds left. Jock not gonna necessarily get that gunfight. Eric Boom with a huge 2. And yeah, you're right, Spaceman. AYM at this point, they had to commit numbers towards B because that clock was running away. And well, Yako trying to zone forward does manage to take down Roche, but gets traded out. And now I think the capture is gonna come in. At least there's a minute 20 left. AYM, they're gonna either have to make the decision to push this through the front, but see if Journey can actually manage to do so. He just got down Fudzy. That's going to open things up here, but that's going to really be about that mid control and hopefully committing numbers to the front and getting these picks.
It went from a 26 and 22 game to a 15v13, which is much more manageable. Ross J having a terrific game, really kind of carrying Katana through this to the credit of what Eric Boom's been able to do with those 2 pieces. However, it is enough time to get this done. A potential 3-0 series win could be on the table as Yako is able to open it up with 1. But it's up to the players in the back have to make a play. Journey with an nade, Super with a headshot. Here comes the push. Yako around the column. He finds 1. Super working up. If he finds anything, I mean, this could be the round. 10v9. He's good for 1, maybe 2. There's the defensive push, but Super's just a little bit better.
Oh, and that was huge from Yako, too, to at least manage to get... He got a kill, and he got away with his life, and able for Super to get on in. But it's Katana Gaming, though, who still throw the nades, utilize, and Fudzy with a pistol elimination to follow. So they stop the bleeding. There's only 21 seconds left. Yako's going to push around the stairs and try to get a kill, but he does get shot up from the window, and Super able to manage to cut down Roche in the front. So... I was going to say, if Yako can stay alive there, it's a 5v5 shot. 10 seconds left. They got to get in now.
They have a little bit of time. Oh, that play from Super is huge. He breaks through the window, 3v3, but no one's around. That's going to be the round. That's it. That's game number 3 locked up. Control goes the way of Katana off of a final last-ditch effort, a last stand over at A. And we get ourselves another hard point. So the start of this reverse sweep goes through quite literally a reverse sweep starting off in round 5. That was again, a situation where you're thinking AYM have a chance to close this out. Boom, Katana swing it right back, and they get it done. That was a ridiculously good hold over at A.
Yeah, and definitely. And credits obviously to Ross J, who had an electric start, just getting those streaks right away. And I mean, although Yako did start to turn up a lot during that, I mean, just credits to all players. Everybody started turning up in their own right, but it really just those defensive holds from Katana Gaming, of course, and just winning that attacking round where Ross J just was snapping, really set the pace and set the tone for this control. But man, kudos to them. I feel like just essentially getting beat up against good teams, they really just managed to get their stuff together and figure out how to capitalize on these games. And Berlin, we said, was the map that they would do it on.
If Ross J doesn't have the performance he has, they don't win this game, and the series is done. If he doesn't have that consistent applied pressure as a roaming slayer the way he did in that control, even looking back to, I think it was a round number 4 where they ended up taking it, where he dies early on towards pillars. He drops, comes back, yet again a catalyst for the break. Like, Ross J is kind of the reason this team makes it to another hard point. He was absolutely crucial. And you look at the non-traded kills, 28. So many of those came off of sight. So many of those came in transition, trying to get over towards the point. On the other side, big 2 pieces from Eric Boom. Yako with a couple of big kills. Journey and Super again working together as usual, but it really came down to those final holds. Katana getting that finally in this series, and going into the hard point, they have to feel confident knowing that whatever was thrown at them, Ellen, they managed it, they recontextualized it, and they put it back into something positive that worked out in the control.
Yeah, and just like similar to the hard points, like just like you said, it's just really about that sub pressure starting to be applied, and Ross J really started to set up, and consistently, like, they were just taking advantage of AYM's mistakes. Like AMM, they were committing too much time to pushing towards that that A site over by train. Like, they were just committing too much time there, and you know, maybe just doing that, obviously it just, their lives just started to dwindle. And yeah, Katana Gaming able to capitalize on that, taking this here. What are you thinking as we go into the Berlin hardpoint, though? I feel like this would be Katana's one of their strong suits, because again, they have to feel a little bit confident, at least from that control win, but also the fact that Berlin, they took down a heavy hitter team like Toronto Ultra EU on this map, so they got to have some type of confidence going into here to bring it into a game 5.
Yeah, I think that at least momentum-wise, you're probably not too shaken up for AYM. The series has been relatively close. Even looking into the first hardpoint, it was not a blowout. But I also am being asked to bet against the likes of Super and Journey and Yako and Eric Boom. I don't think I'm going to do that. However, if I am Katana, knowing how close that game one was, knowing how close the S&D was just a small couple of rounds to go their way, and a opening hard point that if they chain a couple of hills together early on, maybe this is like a 3-0 for them. I think that this is the best chance they've had in this series to prove that they can send it the distance. And if they're going to do it, this is the best week and time to do it.
Yeah, I agree. And just with Katana, you know, like we've mentioned, they need that sub-aggression, help Keza out, because we know that Keza makes those crazy plays that essentially can turn the pace of the game around. When they started to do that, we saw, you know, last week in the Gavutu, it's just like they literally have that ability to adapt from their opponents and start to capitalize on it. Just like with the hard point, they had a little bit of a slow start, but again, really started to pick up the pace. And kind of the same thing happened with the Search and Destroy, where Katana Gaming just had that, you know, they started the first 3 rounds slow, but then had to switch up their strategies, their play styles, and make those mid-round adjustments. So Katana Gaming can do that here in the Berlin and just constantly adjust. Oh yeah, they can definitely bring this to a map 5, and it really seems like Berlin is just their peanut butter and jelly, the buffalo sauce to their wings.
You're a Buffalo person. I respect it.
Love
I respect it. You know, I respect it. Listen, all I'm saying is drummer flat in this instance. If you are Katana Gaming, we have not seen them in a game 5 yet. And that does worry me a little bit. Now, granted, they're kind of playing with house money at this point because they're not they weren't going into this series. From our perspective, we weren't going into the series expecting them to blow the roof off the place, to beat a team like AYM, who is so clearly making a quality run through this season, and on paper and result-wise, it's been the better team. But given that there's not that much pressure and they can essentially play spoiler, do you now favor them if they do send it to a game 5 to say they can literally do whatever they want and just get as interesting as possible, and that makes it more difficult for AYM to adjust?
So,
there was a lot in that question.
I'm still going to, like, I was just thinking flat. Is that the right answer? But you know what, low key though. But low key, I usually end up getting the drums anyway. Like that's just usually what's given to me. But
both. You're not doing it correctly.
But you know what? Yeah, no. Listen, we're not going to talk about the boneless chicken wings debate. Okay, those are chicken nuggets. End of story. But going into this, I like I said, I love a good underdog story. I really do think that Katana does have what it takes, just because of their success with, you know, specifically with Berlin. But I think again, we just we need to see that pressure. We need to see those adjustments, and of course, no single pushing, teamwork, and get those trades. Ross J opens up with that first blood. Of course, it's the P1 battle. It's scrimbly, it's scrambly, but it looks like AYM Esports win the opening engagements, and well, that's Control. It's a hot start for them, 10-11-0.
Yeah, I like the way you put that. Like, we need to see them do it. They know they can do it. We know they can do it. We just have to see them put the pen to the paper and actually get it done. Something they did in the end of that opening hardpoint on Tuscan, if you remember earlier. They did a little bit in the S&D. However, those micro adjustments from AYM paid dividends down the line. They were able to take it 6-5 in around 11. Going into the Control, much more tightly knit than you would have expected, given a team in Katana that has not been the best Control squad in Europe for this season. However, do a decent job of getting the final break. A little bit of a change from that game 1. Let's go into P2 now. We'll see how they play it out, as they were usually the first ones on rotation. Now they're playing off the back foot, but with those opening kills thanks to Keza, it will help this hold be a little bit more fruitful. We'll see what happens as Jocko works to the top.
Yeah, and of course, Fudzy too. He, although he's switching between the automaton and the sub in his hand, he did manage on that last hill to wrap around those double stairs and secure that scrap time. So huge 3 for him. He's on a 4 streak, make it 5. What a gunfight to be won against Super there, and that really was set the tone, set the pace for this P2 hill. Keza winning in those open engagements and Fudzy winning at the ult. So now Katana Gaming, as there's 25 seconds left, they gotta start pushing through the street side, and well, Keza over there also, like, all members of Katana Gaming are slaying out right now, and guess what, they have subs.
Yeah, Keza needs help, and he gets help. He's on 6 and 3. You got Fudzy, who just dropped, so no glide bond for him. And in the moment's notice, what was a 4-stack push from AYM quickly splintered off into a single file right up the gut. They didn't really know how to break. However, they do know how to get to the hard point early. But those transitional fights continue to go the way of Katana. That's 2 more in a row that they will win off those back spawns. It will be AYM inside the hard point first. We've seen Eric Boom come up big with 2 pieces left and right, but he will die as quickly as that hill pops. And the pressure once more inside. The early time again. Journey with a 2-piece. Now it's contest time for both teams.
Yep, and that's just where there's going to be these opening engagements that long range. You see Keza takes down Journey, and Super just holding on so well. Journey did a great job at holding that back window, securing the spawns for P3, but now the fast, quick rotation from Yako, as you can see, he's going to wrap all the way around, and there's still members of Katana Gaming who are committing to old, so now they have to think about that rotation. You see Fudzy's quickly going fast, but it's Yako who's actually awaiting that rotation. They're already set up. AYM is gonna look to break this Journey. Does get a huge 2 middle map, and well, that'll do it. AYM do have new control, but see how Katana's gonna be looking to break. They do win the scrap.
Well, those are big because then Fudzy and Keza can't push through fire. Like, again, unless they hit it together and they have to deal with Journey, they're gonna have to slow it down and wait for Jaqua to come off spawn to watch that cross, and here he comes. Luckily, though, they win their initial gunfights, and there's the break. As quickly as it starts, it ends. As Katana, very different team in this hardpoint than they were on the Tuscan. Wasting no time and no expense, getting back into the hill and building upon that lead. The hold is good for now. Jaqua and Fudzy shutting down everything that comes into their path. What a terrific start.
Yeah, and it's just really like if you can get those ARs set up, like they can really capitalize on their holds, and that's something that Katana Gaming does so well. But the scrap time to be won from AYM Esports, and you see Ross J cutting them down through the middle. Crazy long-range gunfight to be challenged there. Super does take him down, but now it's really just about getting that fire control. You're gonna see Jaqua awaiting, of course, on top P2, watching the cross. He does see Yako, you see, kind of jump across there, but the train control, it's going to be about controlling which side, and, well, AYM is winning the gunfights here. Jaqua does finesse, though, and gets a huge 2, so that is 4 down for AYM, and really, Jaqua, credits to him just controlling that male side and getting those stopping the mid push from AYM on the rotation.
Yeah, and you had one member of Katana pushed out watching the overextension, but AYM ended up spawning at the pillars anyway, so it kind of paid off regardless. Not only is that a big 2-piece that Jaqua just shouldn't have won, it's a mistake from AYM to let that get away, but they end up spawning into gunfire regardless. Like, the positioning has been there for Katana, the early gunfights have gone their way, and the real estate that's been afforded to them because of these early wins, especially on rotation, what it does for the confidence pushing into some of these hills, it cannot be overstated enough just how big of a return to form Katana have been showing in this hardpoint. Like we talked about in the start, we know they can do it. They just have to prove and show that they can do it. And finally, they are. These kills are falling their way time and time again. Journey trying to stop the bleeding. It's 138 to 88, which was essentially a contested tie game going into P3, has now been completely blown out by these constant hill chains from Katana. Now, granted, the lead isn't massive. You absolutely work your way back in with one single hold from AYM, which is a benefit and a silver lining. Regardless, though, Katana proving that on these early holds, they have definitely figured out some of those mistakes from Game 1. We'll see what AYM can do to respond so far. Eric Boom looking for his first kill inside the point. He'll slide out and find it. Maybe 2. No, shut down. Extra numbers follow in for the pinstripes, and Super comes up big yet again with a 2-piece. Yeah, and that was a huge save from Super there, and that's just one of the things with AYM. They're really good at getting set up early, but sometimes just it's really hard for them to hold. So huge gunfights to be won here for Eric Boom, but it is Fudzy who takes down 2, so locking in that pure side. You see Fudzy getting set up. It is Katana Gaming that are set up at the P2, and look how far forward Keza is, pushing into fire, trapping members of AYM in their back, and now that forces them to turn around. Essentially, you see Journey looking for Keza, and Jaqua just getting pushed to the front with Bayako, but overall, this is a really good setup if you're Katana Gaming. They're zoning so far forward that essentially they're controlling the spawns the way they want to, and just recognizing where members of AYM are spawning. 9-19 for Eric Boom. That's not a good start in this game. Time to turn it around, but that time needs to be now as we continue to build upon that lead. Second after second ticking by. Katana just putting such a great touch on this hard point. AYM looking for the response. It needs to come through the likes of Super, the likes of Journey. That pressure that was there in the opening hardpoint, that was there in the controls, the S&Ds. It has not. Yako with the sub, able to break in for 2. That is a big break. Yes, it's only 10 seconds, but it stops some of that damage. It gets you at least towards 145, which you give yourself a hill, you're back in this game, which they will do. They win the rotation. But Yako has a big role to play here now. If he at least gets a kill or 2 on transition, this stops a lot of pressure up front. He gets snuffed out so quickly. Journey now trying to find things next, but what can you do if you're AYM?
Yako literally just turned up right there. Like, he literally gets the kills through fire, pushes forward, gets that old scrap time, and that is just the type of like hold that you need to have from AYM. But oh no, the kills from Keza in the front through fire make it 3. They just again broke so easily when you think that AYM could hold the whole entire time. So now realistically, Katana Gaming have AYM trapped in that back pier. All they have to do is just start to committing numbers towards the new point. But the hold to be had for scrap time, it is Katana Gaming hitting that 200 point mark, and now it's the race towards new, but it's AYM who are nowhere near the point.
I mean, this is a one-hill game, but it's never felt like that. It has always felt like Katana have had a firm grasp on where this hard point is going. Speaking of, look how far out you have for AYM to rotate. The amount of ground they have to cover, not only from the spawns themselves, but just no rotational gunfights. Jaqua taking down Yako. That's one of your front aggressors taken out of the play. And you have to play a 3-on-3 through the back where you don't have information as readily available as you would like. You can't pick up a gunfight on Fudzy. Finally, Super will get the response, but you worry about extra numbers. Surely Yako can get in a position to trade. He will. And this is the best case scenario for AYM. No one's in the point. So you buy yourself some neutral time, but you're just not finding the kills. And Katana are just having their way with this hardpoint.
Yeah, and I love the play from Jaqua and Keza just to stay tucked away in the back, not necessarily pushing anything, but just playing their lives, staying alive, and just keeping the point neutral really is just the play here. But, I mean, you see just that. It's just the lead deficit. It's 234 to 174, and the gunfights are still to be won from Katana Gaming. Budsy's on a 4 streak right now, and, I mean, if he could get streaks here, that's definitely might be it. And just with only 9 seconds left to be won here, you see Keza taking the long way around fire. He does fall, so that's a huge kill if you're AYM Esports, and now that's 4 down, so now they have the mid-map control. Essentially, they can trap Katana Gaming in the back warehouse and continue to hold here, but they gotta play basically perfect hardpoint from here on out.
Yeah, and it doesn't matter if the subs don't find kills because you don't hold anything. Yako drops quickly, so now someone sneaks through. Katana Gaming able to get a body inside the point, but it's time and time again, the subs have just come up short on this hard point. However, for the time being, AYM do have a hold. Thanks to the likes of Super up top, he needs to stay alive more than ever. Only one more inside, it's Eric Boom. Looking for his first kill, we'll find it. On a 3 spree of his own. Defending the point as much as possible. Journey working through the back end. Automaton in hand. More pressure on the front. It's a 2-on-2. Now a 1-on-1. 245. You got to get in contest. Numbers are there for AYM, but they die as quickly as it starts. Back over to P1. You called it L, and the rotation is there. No one else going to contest. That's going to be it. 250 to 203. Katana get it to game 5.
Well, what do you think about that buffalo sauce? Because they definitely put that recipe together. I tell you what, Spaceman, Katana, hey, you know what? They usually you hear bread and butter, okay? I want to be different.
Like
peanut butter and jelly, buffalo sauce to your wing. Like you hear yeah, bread and butter a lot. But anyways, Katana Gaming, that pressure that we needed, the holds, obviously, the AR dominance that just ensued from this squad. They did such a good job of just zoning forward. And I mean, being able to cut down somebody like Journey, obviously you see it, Journey and Eric Boom, they were not having the best games. And Katana Gaming able to run away with it. But still, it just feel like they were kind of in the driving seat the whole time. And AYM just got broken so easily.
Yeah, between Keza working on the outside of the hill with an AR, able to pick up kill after kill, and Fudzy getting into the point for a break and then playing that OBJ role. Like, you have a strong anchor in Fudzy going 27 and 17. You got Keza working on those crosses, picking up kills left and right, making it more difficult to hit as a 4-stack over towards the point for a contest. AYM just didn't have enough numbers at all, like ever. Once they did get a break, how quickly they would lose those numbers and have to fight off the back foot time and time again. We saw it on P3, we saw it on P4. The closest it seemed to be to a contest outside of that initial hardpoint on the first rotation of the game was on the final fire hill. And even there, I mean, Eric Boom gets a kill, but after that, there just weren't numbers enough around. Ellen, with all that said, We have a Game 5 coming up on our hands. Before we get there, though, we do have to go to a commercial break. When we come back, Ellen and I will be discussing the Game 5 coming up. Katana Gaming looking to reverse sweep. We will see you guys in a minute. Welcome back. It's time for Game 5, Katana AYM. This one's been interesting. It was a hard point win for AYM to start the series, a close S&D to continue it, and then the control went the distance. And all of a sudden, Katana have just like woken up. The subs are up, the ARs are up, the roaming slayers are here, and they get us to a Game 5 Berlin S&D. Ellen, how did this series happen? How did we get here?
Honestly, it was that control. The pressure to win that game was so huge for Katana Gaming. But, knowing that if that was one of their weak points, I hope maybe they were just, they obviously were practicing it. But that was the swing factor, taking that control and Ross J just really, really stepping it up. And in the hard point, carrying that momentum on a map, obviously, that they love, Berlin. Again, with that confidence of just winning Berlin before, again, like I said, against heavy hitters. So they just really able to capitalize on this, and going into this search, this is going to be interesting. I think the only time we know that they played search on Berlin was against the Invincibles. They beat the Invincibles on this map 6-3. So, I mean, we know that OG original squad, obviously, Invincibles, they are really good. They're a good search and destroy team. So being able to do that, I don't know, going into this game, if you're Katana Gaming, you want to try to really pull the upset here, because this is going to be interesting for the standings, for AYM, because this was a must win for obviously them, but we'll see.
AYM's in second. They're in second place behind Team War. We expected, maybe wrongfully so, that this is a series they should take, not only skill-wise, but the fact that, like, the stakes mean if you lose this, you have a good chance of not being in a favorable seeding position, because I don't think it's possible for them to drop out of top 4. But, like, this was for seeding. This is for seeding. This is for going to the playoffs. This was for maybe a chance if Team War has a really bad day to potentially overtake him, but I don't think it's possible. In general, it was just like, this is a big day for you. All boils down to is this is a big day for AYM, and at the end of the day, which still has a ways to go, AYM could be looking at a series loss, which doesn't help them at all, given the fact that Katana are 3-3. They win this, they're 4-3. If they win this, they're still fighting in the middle of the pack. But I mean, this is a series for AYM that, you would have thought maybe they take it in 3 or 4, and all of a sudden Katana got it 5.
Yeah, I mean, obviously, like, we have a 6-way tie, so it's like with the seeding and with everything, it's really like these top teams kind of just winning these games today. But yeah, we did not expect this to go essentially the distance. 3-0s, I know we were talking about it, just how strong AYM have been looking throughout the whole stage. But like I said, Katana Gaming, they're here, they got here for a reason. They made a couple of upsets, and I really feel like this squad, they're that type of team that they do get better and better over time. So, you know, Spaceman, I'm a big avid fan of teams sticking together. All right, I would just further in the future, I would just love to see the squad, of course, to stick it through. But just being here in this position against a team again like AYM, it's very good for them. Very good. I don't know. Can they go? What do you think? Do you have predictions?
I mean, I think at this point, given the fact that they seem to be on point, redundancy, whatever, and how the game 2 went to around 11, I think that at this moment in time, Katana have the edge. Momentum is huge. Controls are huge. Yep. It was like that with Uplinks back in the day. It's the same thing now. If you win a Game 3 control, especially the way they did it in Game 5, knowing that they had to essentially outslay their way through every problem they faced, I feel like they have to feel like they have a good chance here. They were up 3-0 in the first S&D. End up losing it round 11. Like, it could not be closer than that. We'll see how they pull it off, though. You have Super working on the snipe. Journey trying to get very comfortable inside P2, but he will drop for his over-aggression, and it's first blood again for Katana.
Yep, and the bomb down, of course, for Katana now, and there's a pick from Eric Boom that's really, really important. Whoa! You don't want to get dinked up by Super with that sniper in hand, but able to get away with his life. Super is inside the bomb site, and I'm not sure exactly if he gets spotted here, but of course, it's Yaku who can maybe make an upset here in the back warehouse, as he does get spotted by Ross J. And now Super last alive in 1 versus 2, 21 seconds left. Well, there's the opening snipe that he needed, but there's the trade from Katana. Opening up with a fast aggressive round towards that base site. Take it 1-0.
One round at a time. That's how you got to take it, especially knowing the lead that you had built earlier in this series. Don't let it get ahead of you.
Yes, because if you remember that last time around, of course, they started off 3-0, and then, of course, AYM brought it back. But if you just want a quick little update with the Team War and Invincibles game, Team War is up 1-0 right now. The Search and Destroy is currently be played, and it seems like Invincibles winning that 1-0 on the Search. So interesting to see if the Team War might have how their game ends up.
So Invincibles is smoking them in S&D, is what you're saying. They're up 1-0, and they're just absolutely clapping them.
I didn't say that.
Alan, just say it with your chest. They're clapping them. It's fine.
Search and Destroys, you never know.
Shout out to the response of Team War as well, for a legacy organization that's been in Call of Duty for, what, 8 years now? It's just been remarkable to see them constantly finding success, as Ross J will find success with that nade to even it out at 3 apiece. Now looking for the retake over on the defuse. AYM do get bombed down, and they have fairly good positioning, but Journey has to watch his back, just doesn't do it. Ross J getting the first pick. I don't think he can stay. There, yeah, Eric Boom's gonna watch.
Yep, gotta take down Eric Boom in the back, and Keza would be the one to do it, and Keza gets punched, so Eric Boom, huge win to be had, and of course, Super on right there to Ross J. AYM with the secure, and of course, Eric Boom. Huge 2 in the back, and of course, Super to follow. It's kind of funny on my notes here, Spaceman, I had for a weak point for this team for AYM. Take down Eric Boom. Shut him down and the squad may lose. Like, Eric Boom is such a key factor for AYM. And I mean, you just see right now him and Super both on a 2 streak. Yeah. So
those are the those are like the game field keys to victory. It's just take down Eric Boom.
Take down Eric Boom.
Yeah. What more do you want? I want a snap from Super. He's 3-1, by the way, on a 2 spree. Another first blood again. Keza's been huge. But with that, pretty quiet on the A site. Ooh, COD timing. Fudzy turns wrong. Eric Boom wins it. Bomb will go down.
Well, the one to play spoiler here would be Eric Boom here through the front. He manages to get in. So if he could get this pick on the Aqua, which he does, that leaves Frost not to get the trade. There it is. And now on the attacking side, I'll really have to just play the clock here, Spaceman. 24 seconds left. But the timing and the turn Journey, perfect timing on to Ross J, able to take him down. And that I don't know if you're Ross J there. That was an interesting angle to hold because essentially, I mean, I guess he thought he was wrapping around the outer stairs, but could have been another round that Katana Gaming could have had.
Yeah, it's whether or not you're expecting a challenge from the top of the stairs or right through the site. I mean, at the end of the day, it was, good plays from both sides, from both players, but sometimes it's just literally coin flip. And in that situation, you got to think Eric Boom gave him good comms on that death just to be in a position to make the play. So we'll see how it plays out now. I think he might have spotted at least one. Information over towards Super. Super still running the snipe. He is. One inside. That doesn't connect somehow. But now you know. At least one around A. But Journey could play such a huge key through the back. It's both big kills with help from Super. I think that snipe did land for something. The response from Joka does make it a 1-kill difference. With 58 seconds to go, bomb going down at A. Now you need the retake from Katana. They have to work together through mid-map.
Yeah, and that was obviously huge from Journey to push through middle there at the double stairs to get that one, and amazing snipe from Super. So Pure Jocko here, gonna have to try to isolate a pick. 30 seconds left, not a lot of time to work with, but we're gonna see around the middle part there. Yep, Jocko just in a perfect position to take down Fudzy, and Jocko does chase the kill. Gets a shot off, but I mean, that just gives away your position. 3 members of AYM just locked in around that bomb site, and Eric Boom takes him down. So very good hold, very good positioning. Of course, that submachine gun in hand, that might be where AYM starts to read on these tendencies of Katana Gaming and shut them down. Journey just finds those openings, and that's exactly what he did. He just cut right through the middle of the map, able to take down one player, and then, well, you got the jump, crazy snipe peek from Super. Of course, Super snipes, they've just been hitting, and both search and destroys. Got to figure out way maybe to isolate the snipers. That's sometimes what players do, just kind of get aggressive and maybe isolate a sniper, find a way to get behind them. But you see the aggression play here towards A, and it looks like Katana Gaming are full sending.
Well, we've given Eric Boom some small flack for just kind of the slow performance sometimes in the series. He's 6-2. I mean, he's really been a catalyst for some of these rounds, just constantly getting clutch kill after clutch kill, even in 2-on-1 situations, closing the round out, not letting it stretch out further than it needs to. And as soon as I talk about him, he dies. That's great. Ross J looking for a pick. Congestion over towards the A side. You have one pushed back. That's Super. You got to imagine he's either got a sniper or an automaton in hand. It's probably the snipe, but it comes down to that first push inside. He does have the snipe. He gets one. Super, there's no way around the pillars. Slide out, gets traded. Katana ready for the challenge. They know exactly what he's doing, and they get themselves another round.
Yeah, and it looked like AYM there too. Like, they essentially knew where members of Katana Gaming were, because they kind of just played for that retake. And yeah, you saw Eric Boom kind of just taking that long way around, going through P2 and just flanking through mail. But it was Fudzy that was tucked away in that train corner. So able to pick up Eric Boom, stop the bleeding at least, and just picking up that flank obviously is key and essential. But A was pretty much a free plant. They were able to capitalize and get in there and get the plant off and essentially make AYM funnel into there's just those gunfights to be won, of course.
That's a wide peek from Super. Is a very dangerous way to look for someone in the top window. A couple of stuns do give him some info, but not enough to make this first push onto B. You're hoping that Eric Boom can find a pick, and then you play up with numbers, but you're looking at 2 push back. It's Fudzy working there as well. You got Jocko in position, maybe for a trade. Very much ready for that first hit. And he spots him. Jocko's still alive. Super now with the peek. Now he gets gunned. Okay. This gets much more difficult to pull off at B.
Yeah, and I wonder if Fudzy too, he had the early information because you saw him pre-aiming there, but a huge win on the Journey too. Fudzy, oh my god. 3 streak now for him. The bomb is moving forward towards B, but Fudzy again drops the bomb now, and that leaves Eric Boom last alive. Only 19 seconds left to plant, but look at the members of Katana Gaming around the point. Like, I mean, this is done and dusted. Huge for Katana Gaming. Patient plays pay off there. And of course, the spot from Super up top 3, getting that opening pick. And I mean, Fudzy just holding those angles, locking down a pre-aim. Tying it up the series now, 3-3. It's getting spicy.
It absolutely is. Every time you think, okay, we're on a roll here. Nope. Keeps going. And I appreciate that.
Me too. Gotta love a good game of Call of Duty.
It's nice when the game 5s live up to the hype. It's not just like a 6-0 wipe. So far, though. Super putting the sniper away. But who's 3? It's Rossj right through mid again. It's this constant pressure from Katana. There is no free push, offensively or defensively, for AYM. Always someone ready there to meet him with a sub. Numbers quickly fall, but that first blood means nothing now. Fudsy last alive.
Yeah, those were huge gunfights to be won over by B, and obviously just Journey winning, Yako being there for trades. And I mean, yeah, Fudsy last alive. Like, at this point, do you try to cut down members? Maybe play for the win? Do you jump off the map? I mean, now he's trapped in the back. I mean, Fudsy gonna look to maybe try to get a kill here and push for an elimination, but yeah, this is what do you do? This is it. Go to the next round. That's just tough. AYM just essentially winning those key gunfights on the B point, despite Rossj having that first blood right through the middle. And that's just kind of the level of play that we talked about from AYM, Spaceman. They just know how to capitalize and read their opponents so well.
Both teams just one round at a time.
Winning gunfights.
That's always going to be big. It's always going to help things.
Yep.
3-1 split for Katana. Looking for the counter hit over to B, but they see nothing. I mean, you're looking at backtracks. You're looking at all the way back around.
Oh, I think this is a fakie.
This has to be a quick plant, right? Because the more time you give up, Katana are going to know there is nobody mid-map. There is no one over at B. You have to get this down quickly and make sure you watch back pillars. And they're going to plan for the backside. I like this play.
Yeah, and really, like, there was a fakie. They threw all their utilities over by B, and then Katana Gaming essentially gave it up right in there the second. But let's see, for playing for the retake, you see Fudsy kind of dancing around the outer stairs here. Super. He's going to look to hold here, but with that bomb down, time is ticking, and there's 2. What is that? A collat? Eric Boom to follow on to Jokwa now that leaves Keza last in a 1 versus 2. And this is still doable, but you got to go fast.
You gotta play time, and if your Journey, just run and hide and wait. Split your numbers, all different angles. Oof. Nicely played by AYM. They get it planted. They stay alive. They don't take any awkward challenges. They get in position to go up for a challenge and a trade on the cross. You got 2 from Super that looked like a collat. They combine for a couple more trades. It's a 2-on-1. And at that point, you got to hunt down Journey and company. It's going to be very difficult with 20 seconds to go. It was just nicely done all the way around. They didn't let the pressure get to them on the site. AYM are 1 round away from closing out this very tumultuous series.
Yeah, and they just did such a good job. It just seems like Katana Gaming is kind of falling into their trap because, they threw utilities. They kind of, you saw in the beginning, they were going towards the B, maybe make it look like they're going over there, and then they just wrap back to A very quickly. So able to capitalizing on that. You see Katana Gaming working towards the B site, and Yako a couple shots in over here, but Ross, you see, might be able to get timing. He waits in the lower stairs, and that's a huge gunfight to be won by Journey. On to Jokwa back warehouse. This is really interesting if you're Katana Gaming. You're just completely split across the map.
And it's going to come down to, again, these one-on-one gunfights. The positioning has to be there, of course, but if Eric Boom can find Fudsy, I mean, you talk about so much pressure at mid-map. Now comes the collapse. Eric Boom does get the kill, but he gets it on Keza. Regroup from Rossj and company. Trying to fly in. They can't win it. Eric Boom again for 2. Fudsy, 1v2. The hopes and dreams of this series lies on him, and Eric Boom closes out the last round with 3 kills in a row. 6-3. AYM Esports do not crumble, and they take it in Game 5.
That was a huge gunfight right there for Rossj to win on to Eric Boom. I mean, he did that with Automaton 2 in hand, but yeah, he is just a key factor. He's got to be stopped if you want to win. But man, AYM just did such a good job at essentially, I feel like, faking them out, isolating members of Katana Gaming, even in that last round. I mean, you saw Rossj, he was stuck there in the middle stairs, and you saw members of AYM kind of turn and isolate him. And of course, Journey winning that huge one over on the B site, just able to solidify that. But what a game from Eric Boom. 13-14, or excuse me, 13-4 Clearly, my eyes just went cross-eyed right there. All right.
Sometimes there's so many numbers, man. It's a lot.
I know, right? It's a lot.
13
but
and 4. That's
crazy stuff from him, man.
In a game 5 of a series of this magnitude, regardless if you want to talk about how, you know, it's at the end of the day, it doesn't mean anything because it's just seeding. But like, this is the last day of the last season, proving that you have the ice to get it done in situations like this, that the teamwork and the validity of the game plan works, going to the distance. Ellen, I think that speaks volumes to just the talent of this team. And here's the series layout. And credit to Katana for putting on a hell of a performance, right? And being able to take it the distance the way they did. Yeah. But in the end, AYM had a very strong hardpoint start. They had the ice in game 2 and they had the ice in game 3. Or excuse me, game 5.
Yeah, and of course we know how important it is. You win your search and destroys. The famous quote, search wins championships. But really just that aggression from Katana Gaming, if we had it from the start, even in that hard point, could have been a very, very different series right here. And even in the Desert Siege, where they just had that 3-0 lead and essentially just kind of ran away from them. And even in the Berlin, where we just saw the search and destroy, just kind of starting off kind of traditional. But again, AYM just does such a good job at reading their opponents and able to capitalize on that. And of course, all members super Journey and in his own right, of course, getting those important kills on rotations from all members. They just did such a good job at just reading and outplaying their opponent.
No, they absolutely did. It was clinical in the end, and that's kind of the takeaway for AYM. Just one after another, getting it done, trusting the instinct, and they win the series 3-2. Up next, it's Rokkr Academy versus Awoba Bobs. This one also has implications as well, but a little bit more interesting. We'll dive into that story when we have time. 7-5 Esports versus whatever it takes. Ironblood Gaming destroy the odds to close out North America later tonight. But Rokkr, Awoba Bobs, there's a lot there to talk about. Rokkr's been on a roll. They haven't beaten a top 4 team yet. Awoba Bobs having some game 5 issues, but near the top of the standings. Ellen, quick thoughts, ideas. Are you excited for this series coming up?
Oh, I'm very, very excited because we know just how Rokkr, just with that roster switch of losing Journey, they, like you said, they've kind of been a little bit complacent from the earlier of the season, like of the start. They were starting off really, really hot. So just interesting to see. And even this past cup had an upset and didn't even place top 8 in the most recent cup. So interesting to see if Rokkr can do it against Awoba Bobs, who have been playing well, but had a couple of losses last night that weren't essentially convenient for them. So we'll see what happens when we come back, but I'm excited for it. Spaceman, always handsome man, Spaceman.
Oh God. Okay, that note, take us to break right now. We'll see you guys in like 10 minutes or something. Goodbye. Welcome back, everybody, to the Call of Duty Challenge Elite season, the finale, as it will, day number 4. This has been a heck of a season, heck of a start so far. It was AYM Katana going the distance in game number 5, but now we got Rokkr and Awoba Bobs. Let's get into the schedule because, well, this is how today's going to play out. Rokkr, Awoba, followed by North America with 7-5, whatever it takes, destroy the odds, and Ironblood Gaming rounding out the schedule. But we started off with a game 5 win for AYM. We went the distance. Now we get ourselves Rokkr and Awoba. Talk to me, Ellen, about these two teams. What stands out to you storyline-wise? How did they get here? What are you thinking?
Well, I'll start off with Rokkr Academy. As you know, Sucre has been the newest addition essentially since the team since last season, which they still kind of are complacent in their placings. Like, this is a squad, as we know, the core 3 at least, Lucky Metals and Real, like, that we should see placing at least top 2. Like, we want to see them win. And, you know, being 8-8 in Hardpoint last season, they didn't necessarily really adjust to that footing. So with this squad, I want to see them be able to come out strong here, and hopefully with Sucre, with that addition,
Sure.
yeah, just be able to set up those plays. And I know, like, it's just, sometimes it takes time, Spaceman, you know, you adjust to new roles. You had Lucky switching out from the main AR to a flex role, you know, Sucre switching to main. Like, sometimes it takes that time to get adjusted. So for Minnesota Rokkr, we want to see them beat good teams, and hopefully get back into winning form.
Yeah, I mean, both these teams come in 4-2. You got Rokkr sitting at 4th place. You got Awoba sitting at 3rd. So this one very much will decide seeding going forward in next week. But looking at Awoba Bobs, I feel like it has been, for a large part of this season, yes, the team effort's been there, but Brezzy and Abuza have really been carrying the majority of the load. Cobra's had his shining moments, but I think Shaxter has not yet had that performance that has kind of solidified him as that crucial 4th piece to this team. I mean, he's had his games here and there, but I think without a doubt, he has been kind of underperforming. He hasn't had those big 30, 40 bomb games, or even then just kind of stayed on a consistent slaying level. So going into this hardpoint, going into this series, I am looking at Shaxter. If he can continue to, you know, do what he's doing in these hardpoints, but be a little bit more efficient, I think he really could help break this entire series open. On the other side, though, for Rokkr, it's been a team effort. Like, Metals, a lucky longest, one of the longest duos in Europe. Real, an absolute playmaker, an X Factor, and S&D, and Sucre, a lot like Eric Boom and Hixie, can just come out with crazy clutch 2 pieces here and there.
Yeah, for sure. And I mean, just to start off here, too, credits to Rokkr Metals. He had a phenomenal start on that P1 hill, just securing the outer point and getting 3. And just even on this rotation, securing time for Rokkr. They have control. They have the lead right now. Brezzy looking to break here. He's going to push on in through the front. And while he does that, simultaneously, you have Chax, who is pushing through the side. So it is Awoba Bobs who do break in for the scrap, but kind of just leave it contested. Not really necessarily pushing towards the point, and you see Cobra setting up for the early rotation. Kind of an interesting play here from Awoba Bobs, but nonetheless, yes, you are right, Spaceman. They are a team that started off week 1 4-0 and had a couple of hard losses last night. So looking to bounce back, this is basically securing that 2nd seed spot for the playoffs.
Yeah, I mean, you look at the Game 5 loss to War, to AYM. It's
Yeah,
tough. You're losing to top
sweeps.
teams. Yeah, and you're losing to top teams, which is like, again, that's acceptable because you're losing to the best in Europe, and that's who you're trying to fight through. But it's also very frustrating, obviously, because those are the top teams. And if you win those, not only are you probably sitting top of the group, but it shows you that you can compete against the top 4. For Rokkr, I think the big question was, can they beat a top 4 team? Because they've yet to really do that. This is their first big real test. Everyone else they've beaten is sitting 5th through 8th. So for Rokkr, it's a testament to the strength of the roster, of course. For Awoba, it's about getting back on track. We know they can do it. And, well, this would be a hell of a way to start off the series if they can come out and kind of stomp Rokkr this opening hardpoint. So far, it's been 2 hills underway. Rokkr maintaining the lead, but how long will it last? We saw a mirror match split on that push into that P2 that helped break it open for the boys in purple, but Awoba doing a very nice job of not only controlling spawns, getting back out to mid-map as well and locking down those kills that gave them those last 15 seconds, and they should be able to take the lead with the last 5.
Yeah, and on that last hill too, it was really credits to Lucky was securing the location, the rotation, but Awoba Bobs, they just do such a good job at playing hills from the front and the back that they can capitalize at any given moment. So here looking to break, you see Chaxter working his way through back warehouse, doesn't necessarily get spotted, but kind of predetermines that Real is in the corner, does take him down. So now the gunfight's to be won in the back. It is Brezzy who did win one in Abuza for a couple well here by Train, so leaving the hill uncontested. You know, I must say, Abuza, he is a factor for this Awobabob's team, who, like you said, has been kind of that a main aggressor in the AR that is set up for the plays. So he is kind of being picked apart right now. 5 and 9, not the best start for him, but once he gets going, don't count out this Awobabob squad, because it can easily just bring it back with the Storm. And well, it's Minnesota Rokkr who do win this scrap time, and this is huge if you are Awobabobs, who managed to stop the bleeding just for a little bit, as Rokkr's taking it home, about to hit that 100-point mark.
Rokkr turned a 3-point deficit into a 30-point swing, which certainly paid out in that money hill. Now, again, you go to P5 towards Fire, and you're already thinking about P1, that next rotation for Metals, and he can absolutely turn this game on its head. If he finds a kill or two and disrupts the flow, the pattern in which Awobabobs have tried to approach this P5, which is bait for neutral time, and then allow Rokkr to get positioning, pick him apart, then you move in for the crutch. And from here, it's come down to a couple of key gunfights where, again, granted, and credit where credit is due, Awobabs have walked away victorious, but now they finally get their feet in, and that's 30 seconds of neutral time. It goes to no one, and it still goes to no one. So this is one of the rare opportunities where you're going to see a neutral and uncontested P5 hill. Rokkr still maintain the lead, but Awoba have been baiting this hardpoint time to get that rotational push, and you already see Cobra working off of that. So maybe this just was a ploy to get back into transition, to get back on a swing, and maybe force that next fight over towards P1, but it's a risky thing to take, and if it doesn't pay off, you are looking at a very different game. But so far, so good. They don't give up too much time. Rokkr get in, but Aweba break.
Yeah, and that was really good credits to Lucky, who actually took the long rotation around through Fire and able to just kind of cut off those spawns. It was Awobabobs that did turn and burn and, essentially look for that kill, but Lucky was able to pick up with a trade to secure the spawn points. So the favorite spawn for Rokkr Academy, as they do continue to hold here, and Cobra does get taken down by Sukri, and Metals to follow with Traxxer. So the kills are in favor for Rokkr Academy, as there's 30 seconds left on this point. You see Metals starting to make the rotation to push zone forward, and Cobra takes him down with that MP40 in hand, who, might I say, Cobra has been such a great addition for this Awobabos squad, because he consistently is one of those factors that gets those early cutoffs, that has that flexibility to where he can pull out the automaton at every given time, and just as I say that, he just wins the scrap time. And now at 10 seconds go to Awobabobs in the rotation and the fight for new. It's Metals. Well, he's got, make it now one member to worry about. It is Abuza, who does get taken out by Sukri.
Well, Metals staying alive just gives time for Rokkr to come help him. And he finds a kill as well. Breaks the hill, gets time. You're worried about the challenging for Awoba, but hesitant as always, and maybe that is the factor that goes into this game one that has kept them at bay. They seem a little bit timid to go for some of these challenges into the hardpoint. They've gotten good breaks, for sure. They just have not been the first team to make their presence known in the hill. And now you're losing the opening 20 seconds. Real on your screen, taking damage and doing the dirty work. Finds one, almost two. The break is in, but isn't enough to keep off that purple assault. It looks like it will be, but yet it's still time there for Rokkr. 20 seconds to go. Aweba should get this. It's still a close game, but it just seems that every now and then there are opportunities on the table for Aweba, but they're too reluctant to take it.
This is where Awobabobs can essentially walk away with this hill. That was a huge 2 from Bressy on the ult, and although Metals does win that scrap time, you still see members of Awobabobs who are zoning forward, essentially, because they do have the favorite spawn for P3. So Cobra, as he locks down this, essentially the pier side, it's Abuza who just needs to turn up for the squad. He's 10 and 19 right now, not necessarily having the best performance, but he is sucking up hill time, so he just has to win these important gunfights. Minnesota Rokkr pushing through P1 here, and now you see Cobra working a pinch. This is the play that Awobabobs needed to have the lead in their favor. 35 seconds left remain, and now it's going to be a Rokkr Academy who just need to make a decision. Do they just play for this scrap time, which they decide to do so, but they can't give up too much, as, well, the rotations are essentially favored right now for Awobabobs, as it does get flipped.
Yeah, I was going to say, like, you get lucky that you get a kill there from Sukri, who gets into the point, so it does work out, but I think it was Metals near mid-map who was, again, reluctant to push forward, because it very much comes down to whether Sukri gets the kill, then you get the time, okay, we can push up together. If he doesn't, you fall back to mid-map and you win the rotation. So far, though, it has been Awoba who have given up that last 10 seconds, rightfully so. They play back towards P4, and in this situation, this is a money hill for them. A lot like how it was for Rokkr early on in that first rotation. You got player 6 at the bottom of your minimap. That's Abuza. If he holds this for 15, 20 seconds, It's going to keep Rocker out of the point. It's going to make it much more difficult to get a clean hold and just, well, easy contest time, easy neutral time they can work off of. It's only 7-8 point game. And in this spot, you got to feel good if you're a Woba. I mean, with how back and forth this game has been, with how the subs have started to step up, with Cobra at 24 and 18 on a 5 spree, this is a very, very strong middle part of this hard point.
Yeah, and of course right there too, like you said, here's the lead change from Awobabobs. Abusa's just holding the back, and then you have Bresty and Cobra who are just zoning forward and cutting off those pinches train sides. So essentially majority of time going to Awobabobs, they're quite comfortable on this. Now essentially they have to push through the train side, but you already see Abusa fighting Pier. He wins a huge gunfight onto Sukri, and now the mid-map control can go in favor of Awobabobs. So as Cobra just here looks, he does spot one member of Rocker Academy and wins 2. So that is huge for Awobabobs. Is essentially now it's Jackster that is last alive. But yeah, the trades there huge for Awobabobs to just really play smart and back up to that P4 hill, Spaceman, and just continuing to just cut off those pinches.
It's a close game. This P5 could really spell the difference, and even looking back to the parallels of that original P5, I mean, that was a lot of neutral time, 40 seconds that did not go anyone's way. It was a big gamble for Awoba. It did play off, and now they're first ones to cross 200. We'll see what they can do to break in. Real playing on the outskirts. Not too worried, though, about these gunfights inside. It will come down to P1 yet again. Sukri understanding the assignment. Trying to work his way through the back. And now a chance. With Jackster on the opposite wing, you got Cobra paralleled inside the point. It's going to be a pinch if you move through. You have to hit your shots, and you got him now. Here comes the push. There's one for Sukri and Metals. Real to the back. That's a great break from Rocker. They wipe the board. They get all 3 kills, and they get in the point.
That was such a heads-up play, too, from Sukri to wait there for his teammates. Metals gets huge 3 in the front, and they're able to break on through. So the coordination from Rocker right there was just beautiful, pristine. And you already see Lucky, who's working the rotation for New. And, well, he does get spotted by Chax, but still, this is a great hold for Minnesota. Rocker essentially is kind of forcing Awobabobs to funnel in through this train lane here. And, well, the dip dodging and diving from Real manages to stay alive here and force Awobabobs to collapse onto the hill, but there's really not much time to had. It's going to be the fights on rotation, and Metals has to worry about 2 from Awobabobs to be 1. Yep.
As a team kill, doesn't help.
Yep.
Well, the lead continues for Awoba, but again, it's been Rocker who have been a little bit slow to the party. 2 hills now. You get a break, you win this game. Both teams can win it here. And Brezzy out of the docks. Not let anyone pass. Real will win the gunfight. That's a big win by Rocker. And Metals inside, just trying to buy time like he's done hill after hill after hill. But Jackster having a great game. And with teammate support, they can close it out on this hard point. The numbers for Rocker just haven't been there, Ellen. And with 7 seconds to go, they just need 1 hold.
Yep, and now Cobra still just fighting to hold and contest the stairs. Not necessarily worried about the point. Gets a huge 2 and Bresty to follow with the pistol kill. So now this is it. They can win it here. All they have to do is hold, but that is it. Rocker Academy go down, and it is Awobabobs who take the win. 250 to 215, Spaceman.
Well, I mean, Rocker seemed a little bit late to some of those rotations, and when they tried to get in, it was Metals the only one alive. We gotta buy time. What do? In the end, Awobabobs just have the gunfire. Is that the right word? They have the gunny. All right, that's what we're going to go with. They get it done, okay? They found the kills necessary. More importantly, they were able to chain hills together. So the gamble in the first P5 does pay off, and they consistently showed you that they were capable of giving up a lot of neutral time because they had those hardpoint holds under control. Rocker didn't throw too many different looks at them, and in the end, Rocker just came up short. They couldn't find anything. Awoba get game 1. Did anything stand out to you, Ellen, as we look at the replays?
Realistically, too, like, okay, so Abusa, he, like I said, he's been playing phenomenal on this squad. And even though he was having a slow game, he was just kind of the one that was sitting in the hill, playing just so slow that essentially just setting up his teammates to allow like people like Bresty, like Cobra to push forward and cut off pinches and cut off spawns. So obviously huge gunfights to be won from Awobabobs, but they did a really good job at collapsing on hills, of course winning those rotational gunfights. And Cobra, just once he pulled out an MP40, because I believe, I'm not, don't quote me on this, I'm not sure if he started off with a automaton in hand, but it just seemed like once that MP40 was in Cobra's hand, you just start to see him really start to dominate. And Of course, we know what Bresty has been doing all year. I mean, even with that old Texas Nation squad, like he just the leadership with him on the squad, like this team has just been so well and so dominant in their hard point in the respawns.
Yeah, they really have, and it's been credit to the consistency. I think across the board, this team is so strong in all of their respawn modes, but the hard points have been kind of their lack of better term, bread and butter in those game ones. Bresty 28-27. Jackster had a very good game, 28-26. 20 non-traded kills. That's the takeaway from me on his spot, and 11 in the objective, which is big as well. Cobra has been a wonderful addition to this team. He's it's easy to look at and be like, yeah, he's been positive in almost every respawn he's played, but I think it just that constant pressure and the appliance he has goes a long way to helping the confidence of this team in respawns. On the other side, this is a Rocker team that, again, is having their first real challenge of top 4 in Europe. Now they've met it, they've seen it, and they have to go to Bocage and win an S&D to tie up the series. I think this series could easily be 1-1, but Awoba seem to be on a bit of a roll right now.
Yeah, no, for sure. And I mean, I look at this too, and that was one of the things that I had down for Awoba Bobs is that they are so good at Tuscan. So if you are Rocker, like, first of all, this is obviously a must win, but like I look at that and I'm like, oh my goodness, like just playing on Tuscan, we know how well that Awoba Bobs has been, and Cobra has just been one of those dominating factors. So I don't know, Spaceman. I feel like we might have another series where it could possibly go to a game 5 because I mean, both of these squads are just so good. But we just know some of the role issues that essentially Rocker have been having, but they have been doing pretty well in their search and destroys. So
yeah, I mean, it probably will. I think we're at least going to 4. I don't see the series ending 3-0, just the strength of Rocker itself, but we could also see, 3-1 Awoba Bobs the way they've been playing. I don't know. I mean, of all the series, we always think it's like, oh, this is the closest it could be. It could go to game 5. Sometimes it just ends in like those really close 3-0s, 3-1 fashions. But Bocage being as dicey as it is, knowing that comebacks are hard to come by on that map, I genuinely wonder how this one will go, and the only way to really start the conversation is look at the S&D leaderboard, because this gives us an idea of how the picture has been painted for the majority of Europe. It's been Super is leading the charge at AYM with a 1.73. Just ridiculous the way he's been since Cold War, consistently on that. Abusa has been lights out. Shaxter, to all his respawn struggles, has been just as good at a 1.26, and that's the takeaway. Like, Abusa leading the charge for this team, Shaxter rounding out the rough edges. This is a very good team on the slaying department when it comes to S&Ds.
Yeah, for sure. And man, I just always remember Shaxter. I think it was from like stage 1 when he had that crazy 3 on Tuscan, like, and I think a defuse. Like, he just literally destroyed everybody mid-map with his submachine gun in hand. The MP40, of course. Shaxter, like, has amazing gunny when it comes to just getting in aggressive, getting in their face. So I'm really interested to see, like, on a map on Bocage, how he would thrive on one of these on this map. Of course, those mid-map plays, just getting up in their face, working the B site, hopefully working around people and that God Teddy in the back, the God Heady in the back. But yeah, it's going to be interesting to see. I don't know. I think we're going to a game 5, baby. I want to see a game 5 all day. Like, this has just been so intense over here in this region that I don't know. I love all these teams. I tell you what.
I'll take a game 5. I'm just saying.
I want to see.
Like, I'll take a game 5. Come on now. We know both these teams could absolutely push it there. Whether we get it is a different question. However, we appreciate you joining us. Welcome into the final match for Europe of the day. After this series, we go to North America. We will take a quick break. But as it stands, it's a 1-0 series lead for Awoba. They take the opening hard point. And now they look to go up 2-0 in the S&D. So far, no one drops from either side. Rocker looking very, very quick to find a peak, but Brezzy will punish Lucky.
Yep. Of course, the first blood of Brezzy, like, he's so amazing with those opening picks, but you see the bomb, it's not necessarily getting planted yet. So kind of sniffing out Real. The door opens and Jax returns. So the call is there. Cobra does tag Real, but you see that bomb site swinging over towards the A. And there is a nade from Sucre onto Cobra, but it leaves Real last in 1 versus 3. And, well, now he's been spotted. That's it. That's done and it's dusted. Awoba Bobs take the first round.
Well, I mean, it spells off from that quick 2 kills to open up the engagements, and all of a sudden it's a 4v2. It's going to be a lot more difficult to reorchestrate a plan through mid-map when you're constantly worried about getting challenged at 2 at a time. Wobblebobs take round 1 pretty standardly. On the other side for Rocker, only person to get a kill so far has been Sukri. And I think for Rocker's sake, you know, we've talked about the difference between Ultra Academy EU and Rocker. I think Rocker has had kind of one of their slower seasons as a group. And now, granted, they've made some changes, but, you know, for a team of this magnitude, for the expectations that were certainly on them, I think being in 4th, at least in terms of seeding-wise, has been somewhat of a disappointment. What a win this series could mean for these boys, let alone in the standings, but just moving forward, as Cobra will avoid the nade and Real will pick up the first kill.
Yep, and right here to stop, I mean, you see Cobra just kind of in a position where he wasn't spotted. Real, though, getting that opening first pick and pushing through Grandma's. There it is. Now Cobra gets spotted out through the back. The bomb doesn't get planted, but the kills do win in favor of Rocker Academy. Excuse me, eliminations. I actually don't want to say that. In favor, of course, of Real just opening up that first pick through Grandma's. It really just kind of set the tone, set the pace for the map, and, well, Wobblebobs kind of just pushed out and through the back of Grandma's, just didn't really necessarily have any type of control, and still both winning their attacking rounds. See which way they decide to push this time. Chax has the bomb, of course. I think the stun check by Gate does come out, but still kind of getting barn control. You see Metals pushed right through the middle, but gets traded out. Look how fast that happened. It's 3v3.
Yeah, you have to commit to that gunfight at that point if you know he's cooking a nade. There's really not much you can do. However, I mean, after that congestion, it's been pretty diluted at mid-map. Biggest push we've seen now has been Chax with bomb. Does he get by unscathed? I don't think so. You got Sukri working far back of his own spawn. Here comes the push. Chax underneath. He gets spotted. And now Real has to make a play. He should get there in position in time. Great slide to find 1. Maybe 2. Timing on site could be huge. Lucky for 1. Here comes the challenge from Chax. It's a 1-on-1. Chaxter versus Real.
28 seconds left. He's gonna have to go for the plant, but the kill comes through for Rocker Academy. And, you know, I really liked their defensive setup because you had Lucky, who essentially was tucked away. You had Sukri, who was tucked away in his spawn as well. And then Real kind of, like, lingering around that barn side. Like, they had such a good setup, too. Like, because even if Wobblebobs decided to go for that A plant, like, they had complete control of a barn. And, of course, coming through the tunnel, I believe, I'm not exactly sure. I think maybe it was Bressy. I can't remember. But Lucky got an important pick onto that person tunnel. And then, of course, that just made it much more difficult, leaving Chax last alive. But good place, good setup from Rocker Academy, and already Real getting into bottom Grandma's. He's on a 4 streak right now.
Chax again for first blood. Cobra looking for a second kill in the game. Everywhere he looks, there's someone that could potentially be around the corner, but Metals can't win the challenge. Yet again, early into a round, it's a Wobblebobs who have numbers advantage. Lucky trying to even things out. We'll do a better job at it, but Sukri looking for his second kill. And if you're a Wobbo, just park the bus. Like, yep. Bombs down. Rocker have to make a play. Sukri, ridiculous read on Chax. It's a 2-on-2, but even here, just hold your lines.
Yeah, and I mean, with the setup too, the Wobblebobs, like you see Bressy tucked away deep in the spawn, and of course, Cobra sitting around Grandma, like you said, just hold your horses, maybe play for the retake, even if so. You got, you know, the bomb is down. 21 seconds left, so Sukri's going to make the long route all the way around, but Lucky does fall inside Grandma's, so last alive, Sukri might be able to get this play, but there's really not that much time to work with, so Bressy does get spotted out, and then there you go. It's Cobra there for the quick trade. Wobblebobs. Very, very passive defensive play, but able to take it and at least even up the odds. It's 2-2.
4-2 for Brezzy. Good start all the way around, and Chax has been crucial for a lot of first bloods that have just statistically helped this team find an advantage early on. You got Cobra working on a 2 spree. On the other side, Metals slow to the party, but certainly arrived. We'll see if he can avoid that early engagement that plagued him in the prior round. And Cobra is going to wait this one out. We'll see what Rocker attempt with on the defensive end.
You know, it was an important pick too on Real because Real was essentially he was on a 4 streak, so streaks that could have been earned there was cut down. So Cobra, as he looks to kind of passively play this A site, you see the bomb not necessarily going towards anything, but maybe working towards B. You see members of Awoba Bombs kind of grouping up there. Jax dancing around the middle. But it's the first blood from Bressy yet again. And that is quickly fall. 3 members leaving Sukri last alive. Does get spotted out. And now the bomb is going down. But Sukri might actually go for the sneaky defuse. Oh my god,
please. Oh my god, please. No.
No.
Okay. Breathe. It's fine. Just felt the Vietnam flashbacks of Black Ops 2 real quick. Just a little bit scared. A little bit terrified.
You know, it's always exciting when that happens, though. And it does happen.
No, it is. I appreciate it. It freaked me out a little bit. I've done a good job of getting my blood pressure under control lately. I don't need that.
Jaxter almost did it. But no, sitting, of course, patiently on that bomb site. Jaxter 6 and 3, by the way. We had mentioned he was one of those leading factors in Search and Destroy. He's having a phenomenal game, but he gets shut down by Metals, who aggressively pushes through mid, make it 2 down. And now Rocker Academy on the attacking end play aggressively through middle, wipe everybody out, and leave Abuza last alive in a 1 versus 3. Now he gets stunned, so that's a spotting check there. Done and dusted. Rocker Academy. Take it there. Shoutouts to Metals.
A little engine that could. I mean, can you think about how demoralizing it would have been if they lost because of the Ninja Defuse? Like, at that point, this game 2 is probably chalked. The fact that, you know, they make the read.
Yep.
They continue on. They get around. It's 1 round at a time. I want this to go to 11. Come on now. Listen, if AYM and Katana can go to 11.
Oh, yeah. Absolutely.
I be damned. This better go 11 too.
Oh, it's one way to do it there for Rocker Academy. Sukri, big kill onto Abuza there, but look at the bomb. Bomb is pushing so far forward. Yeah. Jax. Now the problem with this is the bomb is down bottom. Grandma, and look at the members of Awoba Bobs. They're all the way back barn. So I'm not sure if that was really a call for Jax. I don't know if he got maybe intel to quickly push in there, but the bomb is down in a particular position, and I mean, you see Metals kind of lingering around on it. Members of Rocker Academy, Cobra might be able to fake out well, there's the fakie from Bressy pushing up the stairs. Take down Metals. This is very doable. 2 versus 2, and they have 40 seconds left. They still have time to work with.
Finish your gunfight. Finish your gunfight, brother.
Well,
what did we learn?
That wasn't predetermined.
What do we learn from our Lord and Savior Chance? 5-6 years ago? How long ago was Black Ops 3? What did we learn? Finish your gunfights, okay? Finish until they're dead. Make sure you hit your shots. It's okay, though. It was a tough round. You'll get them next time.
Yep. Gotta finish those gunfights, but hey. Rocker Academy now leading the charge. Lucky has the bomb, and well, what we've seen in the past, Metal's not necessarily deciding to push through mid fast. You see more of a passive play. Real with that automaton in hand. Waiting.
It's because Jaxter taped down the W key last round, and they're like, yeah, we're not falling for that again.
Well, Bressy does get spotted. He does get taken down by Metals, who has first blood. And now that kind of opens up B a little bit, but you see that Abuza is tucked away in their spawn, and also Cobra just holding down Grandma's, running back and forth, but it is Metals to just take down that elimination onto Jaxter. That the bomb still is just tucked away. Rocker Academy are playing for the eliminations here.
Oh, that's frustrating for Metals. 3v2. Bomb making its way towards A. Abusive can catch him off guard. And Cobra wins a big one on the site. Bomb goes down as well. So if he just plays his life, and you got Abusive in the back working with an AR, like, this round could go the way of Awoba, but it's just on the outside. Wall takes his one peek. He's gonna see his foot. He's gonna see the foot. Bomb does go down though. Can't clean up the kill. 40 seconds to go.
Abusa, he just gets that opening pick on the Sukri now. He has plenty of time to work with too. So working the wrap all the way around, you see Abusa working, but Real, essentially maybe the play that he could be back tank. Real does flank all the way around, and the timing from Abusa, Rocker Academy, take that. And now this is where it's scary, Spaceman. 5-3. I feel like that might be a scary. You don't think that's a scarier? I think that one's a scarier. That's scarier too.
Yeah,
than
I think it definitely has its moments for sure.
It does.
Yeah, 5-3. I see that for sure.
But man, oh man, this is just one of those things. I don't know. I feel like Rocker Academy, I mean, that was almost a way of a Wobabobs. They were able to capitalize, but I just feel like maybe they just need to commit to a site here. Maybe just work together to get these pinches.
Jack is doing it again. I mean, if this works out, it's a great call, but if it doesn't...
At least he has his teammates there.
Oh my goodness, almost 360. Yeah, luckily he does have support, so if he goes down, not only do you get the bomb back, but you just get a trade. Play the numbers here. You could force your way to A, but you don't know where Sukri is. And Cobra takes care of business at B, so B is wide open. And there goes Sukri. It is a round 11. What was an Onobabobs into an Awoba win. They worked their way back. Shout out Clayton. He's going to come on.
That was good. That was good. I'm not going to lie. But yeah, shout out to Clayton for that one. But realistically, yeah, it just seemed that Jaxer this time in hand, he had Bressie there, of course, with the MP40 in hand to push that bottom grandma's. And instead, of course, the bomb being dropped in Narnia land by itself, Bressie was there, of course, if Jax to fall to get the trade. So Capital capitalizing on this though. Real passive plays through the middle, holding that automaton in his hand, does take down Bressie now. And it is numbers for Rocker Academy as the bomb is again waiting patiently inside a barn. Stun checks do come out, but you might see the play here as you see two members wrapping around in the God nade from Real to take down Abusa, leaving a Wobabobs now left in a 4 versus 2.
This is impossible, but you would have to take down Metals and Real to make this doable in this situation. Yeah, you got to play your life and clean up the kills. That's the hard part. I mean, bomb should go down. But Rocker so committed to 1 kill, but starting a lot of time. Maybe it is just hunting out Cobra, who's currently roaming. The passiveness from Awoba might pay off. Not if you can't hit your shots. Now it's a 4v1. Or 1v4, I should say. Well, there's one. Got 28 seconds to make a play. Bomb is going down. Cobra absolutely knows where it's coming, but does he read this push? He does.
Oh,
I mean, if you're Rocker, just join together. Just hunch up.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, you see kind of
Hold hands.
Metals is pushed up by that Silos, and you have Sukri tucked away, but Cobra, this is very doable. If Cobra can isolate at least one pick, and he does spot Metals, but you have Sukri right behind him who doesn't necessarily move, so he can maybe bait out the bomb, but still 20 seconds left. He's got to go fast.
He doesn't have enough time, and given the positioning of Rocker, the way they've split it, nicely done all the way around. 12 seconds to go. I mean, this one is... yeah, it's done. The done knows. That's another word. GG's in game number 2. He does get the 1v4, but unfortunately just could not get it in time. Rocker will take map 2, 6-4, and tie up our series at 1 apiece. So, with all things considered, as interesting as it was down the stretch, Rocker do close it out. They do tie us up, and I said it. I said we're going at least 4, and we are going at least 4. So there you go.
Yeah, no, for sure. And of course, big credits to Metals. Rocker just seemed to really have good positioning, kind of just waiting out with that bomb site on their attacking rounds and just playing for those picks. Real, of course, had a couple in that mid and that last round there where they're just essentially, of course, it comes down to those first bloods, but really clinical. I mean, Vocage, not necessarily a lot of plants going down, but the first bloods, again, to Metals and Real for the squad to just secure those earlier rounds and just capitalize on certain plays.
Yeah, it came down to a couple of big first bloods from Awoba, but in the end, the response late game from Rocker Real, from Metals running bomb and not doing what Chaxter was doing, which wasn't a negative until Chaxter ran in by himself and got himself killed. But other than that, it was patience from Rocker that really paid off in the end. And you can see it all the way down the line. You know, everyone at least contributing 5 or more for Rocker. On the other side, you know, one of the big factors in S&D, Abuza, relatively quiet, 4 and 7, Chax 7 and 8, doing his thing. But Abuza was leading most of Europe outside of Super, and like S&D KD had a very, very slow game. And maybe that presence on the back end was certainly felt. But regardless, this is about as close as you would like for both these teams, given the fact that they currently sit 4 and 2, both of them in their series count. Regardless, though, Rocker tied up, gets some momentum in that game too. Control is a fickle game mode, to say the least. What are you thinking, Ellen? Who are you taking? Who are you predicting? How are you feeling about this series moving forward?
Well, honestly, we know like the type of sub pressure that Awobabobs has displayed in the, you know, and I feel like on a map where they're comfortable, like Tuscan, I feel like that this is going to be a map that they're going to thrive on, because even with Rocker Academy, some of that sub pressure has really alleviated since, like, you know, since the loss of Journey. So I feel like Awobabobs, just with how well they have been playing on this map and just how consistent they have been across the board on Tuscan, I just feel like Chaxter, again, this is where you really need him to step up and just keep that level of consistency, the aggression, of course. It just really, really favors Awobabobs, and especially with Cobra, like he's been lights out, like pretty much all stage. And I mean, you remember even with that old Signs roster, like he was really one of their key standout players. So yeah, definitely need just some of that type of aggression, just continuing to move forward with Chaxter. And I think, yeah, they'll be okay. Tuscan is just a map that they just thrive on.
Yeah, it is. Well, let's not waste any more time, folks. Let's get right into it. I love it. We're just flying in and out of these games today. Let's keep it moving. Into game number 3, Rocker, Awoba, tied 1-1. The S&D went to Rocker on their resurgence for Awoba, trying to stop some of the bleeding into these respawns. They had a very good hard point near the end. Some questionable decisions in the start, but it paid off. Chax opening up with 2 kills to break this one down, make it 3, and working on A. It's Awoba who have the pressure early on.
Yep, and that was the play, realistically, to just push A, get that extra time right away, not necessarily mess around and go B, but look at that. They have all 4 members down for Rocker Academy and are already on B. You see Bresty holding down the line of sight with that automaton in hand, and Chax is still on a 4 spree, make it 5. He is popping off right now. So now this forces Rocker Academy to spawn that deep field side, and already there's 2 ticks. Make it maybe the 3rd, but they have to push the top church, and, well, lucky falls, but still the bleeding ensues. Chax has not died this round, and my goodness, what a start for from Awobabobs.
Yeah, and if you're Chax, you can kind of fall out of the play here. Like, yes, you're going to put more pressure on A, but you're going to wait for your teammates to pull attention away from the site. You're going to get into position to maybe get a free kill, and there it will be. So there's the glide bomb. Now you can break through back church, make the split through mid-map. It's a 2-2 press, and this is where Awobabobs get dangerous. When their guns start lighting up and they get this pressure in the point, they can really push you out of position, force you to take awkward gunfights you're not ready for. And Abuza will punish Metals for the over challenge. Abuza making it 2 in a row. One isolated member of Rocker being Real, the only one around for the moment who was stopping the progression at A. Now numbers funnel on in. Chaxter flying his way into a gunfight, make it 4 dead. That's going to be A locked up. That's going to be round 1 to Awoba in what, 45 seconds? Holy God.
24 lives to 7. I know we said that Tuscan, like, literally was their map, but, like, I was not expecting to come out with such heat. My goodness, Chaxter, like, I believe he earned streaks there. I'm not 100% sure. I think he was, what, 8-0? Yes, he did. He got the streaks there. So Chaxter with such the electric start to just push through middle, get that 2-piece, push through back A, but that grass side. And really, after they got the numbers at A, they swung over to B, and then they captured B and had, you know, wiped him again. So crazy start from Awobabobs, and yet again the defensive side. Abuza's on a 5 streak. Can he earn streaks now? And that's already 3 down for Minnesota Rocker. Is, well, they're not getting any time right now, and it's already Awobabobs setting up for a spawn trap. You see Chaxter lingering around by rooftops, and, well, the flood comes in through middle for Rocker. They have to get the kills here.
You know, if I was Abuza, I understand his power position here, but if I was his teammates, I'd give the call to just move him out, because he's working on streaks his own. Like, Chax is frying. He's 11-3. Abuza is on is 6-1, and he pushes up, gets taken out for it, so he won't earn the glide. But in that instance, I know that you don't want to give away too much over at A, but I would still be a little bit selfish and say, hey, 2 streaks is better than 1. We know what it could do to open up this game, let alone put it away. Maybe you pull them off the play. Regardless, they do hold on to the life lead. They give some space to Rokkr to work towards this progression. But right now, it's a 2-2 split for Rokkr. I think they're more than happy to play this the way it's been going.
Yep, absolutely. And, well, that's one way to do it. Sucre at least able to capture the A site and secure that remaining time. He's not necessarily having the best game right now. Him and Real both 3 and 8, but huge guns fights to be won here over by P5 as Real works the lower stairs, and he has, of course, Sucre to follow. And, well, that's a huge win for Bressi in the front. At least Metal gets the trade, but you have Abuza, of course, who is just disrupting the spawns and, well, the dance with Lucky over here by Church side. At least maybe if he can get set up and kind of do what Chax was doing the last round and getting in their spawn, getting aggressive, getting in their face. Rokkr Academy might be able to capitalize on here, but the gunfights to be won is what's necessary. You got to be able to shut down Chaxter, and I mean, you already see Cobra pushed up 2 rooftops. Yeah.
I mean, you saw 2 subs from Rokkr pushing down well steps. I thought they might roam through P5 and then get over towards B and kind of use radio as a exit strategy if needed. But instead, it looks like, again, they went for that 2-2 split, which I don't know if that's just the call to counter what Awoba's been doing with these power positions and these holds. But the setup from Rokkr has been to make numbers as isolated as possible so they're not constantly getting wiped off the board, which I think is a good call. So now, yet again, they find themselves in a position to work on a second tick. If they get the first one locked up, they're just getting met by a flurry of nades, constant stuns on the point. Whereas on the other side, it's up to these ARs to shut down that front push like they've been doing, 10-9. Rokkr don't have a lot of numbers around, let alone any. It's going to take one more push. If they don't get this is probably another round Awoba find a way to win.
Yeah, and like you said, not enough time. And of course, Awobabob's just utilizing those nades. Bressi was cleared off the point, and that was a huge win for Chaxter on the metals that stops the push. You got the nades again, stopping Sucre from pushing this rooftop side. So Sucre does take down Abuza, but there's still, again, not enough time. It's realistically Real that needs to get in to stop the clock, and Bressi just awaiting patiently that patio side. Only 5 seconds remain here, Spaceman. This might be done and dusted for Awobabob, or excuse me, for Rokkr Academy rather. That Awobabob's defensive hold, they lock it down.
Real literally walked out of radio and stared at someone and walked away. I don't know. I don't think he saw him. Like, granted, a lot of times you just kind of tunnel visions. I get it. But that was, if he gets that kill, you work down the back steps. I'm not saying it flips for Rokkr, but it's probably a little bit easier than trying to bully your way into the point. Regardless, with all that, you got Metals at 8 and 13. Real 8 and 12. Like, it's not, these aren't bad games by Sucre as well. These aren't bad games at all. It's just, some of the biggest kills have come in the latter part of these rounds where Awoba have just stepped up. Lucky and Real will open things up for Rokkr as they work their way through this round. They had pressure at Med-Mab multiple times in round number 2 with working off the back of a streak that Chaxter certainly has, the way he's been rolling. You have to think offensively, Awoba are probably in their best position possible to put this game away.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm sorry. That's just like, I feel like Sucre is just amazing with those soccer punches. But yeah, it's Awobabob's just really pushing forward, getting into bottom church, and really just the AR is just holding down the back. You see Bressi, you see Abuza locking down that A site. They at least managed to get a tick, and well, it is the stack from Awobabob's at least getting progress at A. Real, he's sitting middle. He might be able to cut off a couple members rotating over, but for Rokkr Academy, they're just not really deciding to throw lives away here. Just kind of wait for the rotations and get the picks and maybe set up for a spawn trap. Real maybe spotted Chaxter, maybe top church, but he takes down Metals. Chaxter still is having a game of his life right now. Real's gonna rotate back here, and this is where Rokkr can at least set up a little bit. But the problem is they don't really have, they don't have necessarily church control, but they do have Sucre, who's pushed out rooftops.
If you can get the time down to around like 50, 55 seconds, and you can build upon the lead for Awoba, if you can get the life count within 4, if you can find a way to chain a couple of kills together, you get a wipe onto the point, you get yourself onto B, then maybe you use the streak, try to put this round away. Bressi team killing doesn't help, and Lucky picking up 2 certainly does not either. Now, it's going to come down to brute force. You're going to definitely save the glide bomb. Real, Chaxter, radio, goes to Real. And Rocker stepping up and meeting the challenge on the defensive end. They've kept pressure out of the point. They have kept Awoba Bobs isolated 2 at a time, pushed back into their own spawn. This is a very good defensive setup and structure from Rocker.
Yeah, and credits to Lucky too. He was on a 5 streak before he was taken down, so potentially streaks that could be had. But you see the bunny hops coming in from Awoba Bobs, pushing through rooftops. That's a huge nade from Sukri to take down Bressy. But 25 seconds left remain. This is realistically the last push that they can set up here for Awoba Bobs. As well, Abusa does take down Metals, and this is the trap that can be set up, but they have to go now. They're kind of playing a little bit too passive here right now. The clock is ticking away. They need to get onto the point, but Cobra takes down 1. I don't know if this is going to be enough time if they can get in, but huge from Abusa. If he can stay alive and at least get 1 more pick. No, that is not it, but Jack's at least able to slide on through. It's not enough, though, for Rocker Academy as they defensively hold and take this round. But yeah, tell you one thing, Awoba Bobs is definitely not making it easy for them.
Good round from Rocker, and like I like the point you made there, right? Even in the end with a second to go, with all the lives to give for Rocker, it has not been easy, and Awoba have been fighting tooth and nail for every scrap they get on the point. But now they go to the defensive end, where, again, we'll go back to the conversation of cyclically, the glide bomb is available. If you feel pressure at A, let's say A is the last call, let's say A is the last point, you have that ready to go. We'll see what they do. I have to think they're a little bit more passive, and they're going to give Rocker some leeway over towards A, but all it takes is 1 or 2 wipes, and you force the decision at B. Chaks are opening things up, but yet again, Rocker respond with 2. Back and forth we go. Metals over at B, having a double negative result so far. Can he turn it around? What a way to do it. And he might have Cobra right in his sights, turns the wrong way at the wrong time, and Awoba get both sides clear.
Yep, at least, though, the good news is for that is Rocker at least able to secure 1 tick, so now the pressure is going to be towards A, as you see Real trying to cut members of Awoba Bob's bottom church, and Metals to follow. Another soccer punch comes in. Jackster does get taken down, and, well, Bressy at least with the trade. So that leaves Sukri last alive over at the A site, and he does get taken down. So not a lot of resources are committed here that can be committed towards B. Rocker Academy are going to have to look to group up here and try to find a way to capture A as, well, Bressy's cutting down the middle, and that's a huge 2 to follow Awoba Bobs. Looking strong right here. There's only 50 seconds left for Rocker to capture a point.
Cobra, big win. And player 4, that's Chaks. He's going to get on to B. You still have Brezzy working in the back line on the opposite side of the map. And you got 3 Rocker members all pulling their attention towards him as Abusa falls. The Rocker slowly but surely building that mount at A. 21 to 15. Chaks roaming again. They get the clear. They don't have to use anything. They got 30 seconds to play with. They got all the lives in the world. You got Brezzy combining for 2 pieces. You don't even need to use the streak. This is ideal all the way around for Awoba. And now you can. You can use the glide bomb off spawn if you're Cobra, or excuse me, if you're Chakster. Like this is just clinical from Awoba.
Yeah, absolutely. And I mean, credits to Cobra too on that rotation. Like, he was cutting off rooftops. He gets a huge 2-piece, so he doesn't allow any members of Rocker Academy to essentially push forward. But still on the attacking side, the streaks do come through. Chakster was able to connect onto 1, but 2 members of Rocker are able to get in. Now Metals last alive. Not enough time, not enough lives. It is Awoba Bobs who just completely dominate this Tuscan. And, well, in a favorable fashion, 3-1. And I believe, man, I think they did that same stat line. I believe it was with Toronto Ultra. Like, they're just so good at control. Such a good control team. Such a good respawn team overall.
Yeah. I mean, listen, the criticism was there for Chaks. He had a very slow day yesterday. He hasn't been performing his best Call of Duty, which we've seen him play excellent Call of Duty. He has not been doing that in this season. However, he was lights out in this control, and that was that next level. That was this was this type of performance from Chaks that we had been waiting to see, especially in the controls, especially in those big respawns that have so much momentum in the middle of the series. We have been waiting for Chaks to take over, and when he does, look what happens. Everyone feeds off of it. All of a sudden, you got Abusa working on 5 sprees off the start, Brezzy sitting comfortably with an AR, and Cobra's just roaming and picking up kills. And all of a sudden, Awoba Bobs had all of the momentum, all of the control, all of the positioning, everything they needed to get this done. They do it. and they get it done in a huge game 3. And now they go to another hard point where you have to feel that they are feeling comfortable and happy with their performance. You got Real at 14 and 25 and Metals at 11-24. You keep two of the most powerful players on Rocker, sub 20 kills, almost double negative. Like, that is a perfect performance for Awoba on multiple ends.
Yeah, no, for sure. I mean, just from the beginning, Chaxter was just lights out, immediately starting off like 8-0, setting up the pace on that attacking round, which was huge, obviously, to win right away. Like, Awobabobs just, they had complete map control and just knew and how to set up for every single play that they wanted to execute, and just quickly capturing A, and then, or like, you know, getting a couple ticks at A, going over to B and fully capturing that. But again, they had the wipes. Like you said, it was credits to just all members really just rotating appropriately. And of course, Cobra just cutting down spawns and locking down certain map positions, holding those certain angles is just something that they just do so well. And yeah, across the board, all of them are, every single member of Awobabobs, they're all positive. And realistically, yeah, credits to Chax, man. He really set the pace. I feel like just in the off the break, like it just set the tone right up from the beginning.
Yeah, they really found a way just to get it done, and that's kind of the big thing, is like when the push comes to shove, can you stand up and close out the game? And they really did it. Now it comes down to our map layout. As we have seen so far for the majority of this series, it has been back and forth. You're looking at the S&D going the distance, essentially. You're looking at the hard point being as close as it was, but the biggest stretch, the biggest disparity of score, I would say, of skill in this series was that control we just closed. And now we go to Tuscan again for a hard point. If Cobra's going to roam like that and Chaxter's going to make those quick reads, especially between the cuts when he's running up against the opposite sub, Chax, if he has the same kind of performance, all of a sudden I am giving my props and credence over to Awobabs and saying, okay, you win the series 3-1. Like, this is going to be a very quick Tuscan. I think they look that good. Ellen, am I completely off base? Say yes.
No.
What are you seeing from Awoba? Like, it seems like they've had Rocker's number for a lot of the respawn in the between moments where they've been picking up a lot of quick reads.
Yeah, for sure. And it's just really Chaxter, Cobra, that sub duo that when they start like popping off, they really start to make magic happen. And Tuscan is just one of those maps where the two of them just thrive on that. And of course, I mean, as a whole, of course, Abuza and Bressy, like Bressy just switching me when needed, whether it's a sub or an AR in hand, like he's just so well, does that so well that just as a whole, they just make that magic happen. And I mean, Cobra specifically just really great at getting those picks again on rotations, on holds. It just really can influence the team. So realistically, I guess, what do you think would be the win condition here then for Rocker? Like, I mean, essentially, I feel like they just, of course, they need their subs to step up. Because that again has just been that ongoing issue with them. Like, the sub presence on this team has just been really concerning. Like, can they handle that pressure from other teams? Can they adjust? Can they adapt? So realistically, just yeah, for me, that's my win condition. They need to obviously step up and create that SMG presence that they used to have.
I think it comes down to the problems they had in game 1, which was late on rotation and difficult to hold. I think it's those two. Like, they were oftentimes a little bit late to meet into the opening hard point, to meet the challenge from Awoba. Awoba oftentimes was winning the final 20 seconds, and when we look at the minimap, you're looking at like 10 seconds of just rotation time that Rocker had to cover just to get into the hill. And from there, it was often Metals left in a 1v2, 1v3 situation where he was buying time for his teammates to come help. Yep. So it has to be cleaner across the board, playing your lives better for sure, but Rocker can't afford to be playing off the back foot every single hill. They have to be able to chain some of these hills together.
Yep, and that's just been one of the newer additions, essentially, right there. I was going to say Sucre, see what he can do there, but Metals right off the bat, kind of just a little bit of a passive play, not really necessarily in control. You see Rocker Academy trying to flood through the middle, but yeah, again, it's just kind of Awobabobs starting off really strong there, and Sucre just getting picked right away. I don't know, this seemed kind of passive. That was an interesting start from Rocker Academy there. But that aggression that we need from them looked like it kind of started to come to life here, at least maybe the remaining scrap time to be won, but it's on that rotation. You see Cobra already working his way over towards P2.
Yeah, I'm not going to lend too much stock to the opening hill or two. It's usually heavily contested. Usually you're still waiting for your setup to develop, and from there, you get into the swing of things. But now, with essentially a tie game, we go to our rotation. Yet again, it will be Owababs who are inside first at P2 for Rocker. How do you break through the back? They're going to have to deal with Chaxter regardless. That is your only entry other than bullying your way through Radio, which absolutely could be the call, but instead they leave off. So you have one member of the back that's Chax, and Brezzy and Cobra both finding 2 kills just means it's going to be that much easier to watch the overextension. No other AR trying to get in an anchor spot, and uncontested time continues to be uncontested as Cobra and Chax are doing all they can to keep this one locked down, and Cobra has been basically getting kills for free. Finally, a couple of challenges do go the way of Rocker. There's the break, but it takes a little bit longer to develop than maybe you would like. Yes, they have 20 seconds to go, but maybe 10 seconds before is when the sweet spot would be for this team. Regardless, though, they know where the spawns are, and Sukri is beaming from Radio. This is a very good hold from Rocker to get him back in this game.
Yeah, for sure. And that was a heads up play too from Lucky to back on out and rotate towards New early. So as he sits and waits his spawn here, no idea. Bressy does get taken down, but now there's 3 members of Wobobob who are flooding in through the front, and they're trying to go fast. They have to quickly go before this hill pops in. Well, Lucky stays alive in the back. He does take down Cobra, and now that leaves time for Sukri to push through the front. But it's still, even though Rocker did have the early rotation, Lucky has still been alive here in the back. He's on a 5 spree right now. Can he earn those streaks though? Yeah, at least he has the automaton in hand, and he needs one more elimination. And well, there's the flood in from Rocker Academy to the front, and now at least they hold some time on this hill. But I believe Lucky actually just lost his streaks there though.
I hate when that happens for any player. I love seeing streaks. Regardless though, not as even as you want for the start of a hard point. Interesting spot so far as Awoba looks to have the hill control. Regardless, Rocker breaking through the back. And a split spawn towards the outside. Now a race through P5 down through the fountain. We'll see what happens as Rocker are more than happy to give up some of these lengths. Sukri working towards that back end where Chaxter was prior. And I like what I'm seeing right now from Rocker. Even though they are losing the opening hill, it's all about the next setup. It's always about the 3, 4, 5 steps ahead that they need to take, because Sukri is the catalyst for being able to break this through if the subs don't do their job. Lucky's going to fly in, needs help, certainly has it. Sukri loses the gunfight on the outside, but look at the purple players all around the minimap. They have a complete push inside the point. They have numbers around a trade. Lucky is dipping and diving, gets a glide bump for his efforts. It was a great response from Rocker.
Yeah, indeed. And Lucky, I mean, as you know, he used to play that main AR role, but he's so good with the sub in hand too, as he just earned his streaks there. And of course, yeah, credits to Sukri, who held the back spawn essentially and allowed members of Rocker, even though they were, I was gonna say Cobra just got a 3 and wiped off with the point. That's the remaining scrap time to Awobabobs. But such a good job though at Sukri just staying alive in the back to secure the spawns for Rocker, because Cobra was able to cut off metals there at rooftops, but still, players are slipping through for Rocker Academy. At least they're trying to get some time off those rotations, but it's just the gunfights that are being won from the subs of Awobabobs, still looking strong even from the last game.
This is bottom P2 spawns for Awoba, so they can just work their way into the hill. For Rocker, it's very split. Now, luckily, you do have Meadow and Rial coming up together to try to push through the side. Chax can't find the kill. You do have a team kill, but hey, it's all purple for the moment. It's a one-hill game now. No pressure in Radio. Sukri on your screen. Automaton in hand. What can he find? Lucky does fall. You got Metals working underneath towards 12 steps. It's a lot of pressure from these subs into the point. Not a lot of nades to meet that response, but regardless, damage is done, and Rial is doing all of it. This is a great hole from Rocker.
Yep. And you see the race. Lucky just fell mid on the rotation towards New. It's Awobabobs who are set up. Sukri, the nade over, doesn't connect, but Cobra does follow to at least get that fire control. So at least this is still a pretty close game for Rocker Academy. Gonna have to look to break here, and you're gonna see maybe members flooding through back church, and at least the streaks do come in from Lucky. Can he connect though? That's at least 2 members of Wobobob who do fall down, and now make it 3. But Cobra still lingering around church, does eliminate Sukri middle, and Spaceman here, this might be one for Rocker Academy, but Awobabobs, at least they have knew that Cobra is working that new rotation, at least holding down the back church, and that's going to be the problem here for Rocker Academy is, well, he's essentially just working those long pinches, needs to get taken down. Lucky does just that. Might be some good scrap time for Rocker Academy to be earned and have a lead change here.
Yeah, that streak was basically used to buy him a lead, because then you're forcing Awoba to have to convene on the fly rather than pushing up from spawn. And I like that call because, well, it's been pretty close throughout. If you can get yourself a lead and build off that, it's much easier to close out this game than it is to work from behind, use the streak as a last-ditch effort, as an insurance policy to close out the game. So it was an investment early to get them the lead. Now, what do you do with it? How do you work off of it? Metals doing a very nice job of, well, not really getting the nade over the barrier, but hey, guess what? You got members there for Rocker. You got Lucky working through the back line. If he gets two, how it could break open this hard point, gets strong in the left corner, and turns around, almost gets 180, but damage is done. Good enough. More purple in the kill feed, and all of a sudden, Awoba are scrambling to get back to one another and get into a full man 4 hit. It just hasn't worked out. Rocker have done a very nice job of isolating these lanes and zoning out Awoba.
Yeah, indefinitely, and Lucky has been just stepping up. All members of Rocker Academy securing that time, and of course, the rotations are coming in for new. As you do see, Rocker Academy, so Awoba does push for that scrap time, but Rocker Academy do have the spawns for new, so spread across the map. You see Cobra does take down Metals, but Lucky at least has that rooftop control still, and Metals did spawn there, so Abusa with a huge 2, though, does take down Lucky and Metals now, and at least might be able to slink by here, but he still has Lucky to worry about.
12 and 18.
I was gonna say,
That's
where did he
tough.
just spawn? Trippy spawns there. I was like, did Lucky just spawn there again?
I mean, you got green spawns for Rocker, so like,
Yeah.
if you're Chax and you get in, you got to worry about the next wave. It's not just, oh, we have 4 kills, there's the wipe. You're gonna worry about the next wave and the next gunfight and the next one. And Rocker, every single time you think you're gonna count them out in a hard point. I mean, they're there, but better job from Brezzy and Chax to kind of take over this hill, push themselves back into the fountain. Like, full brute force through the front is what it's going to require, as Cobra finds 2, and Lucky does so with the pistol and the nade. But nobody's time. This is probably good for Awoba. You're not giving Rocker more of a lead. You are getting some in your own pocket. What do you need to see on the rotation, Ellen?
Yeah, well, essentially Cobra to win these gunfights here. So Lucky is behind him. So essentially, I think Lucky does spot him out, takes him down. So that is the rotational gunfights that Rocker needed to win to secure time. So strength in numbers, though, it's Bressy, who's still last alive, tucked away by that pillar side. Lucky at least does spawn back church. And, well, at least the information is there. You're going to see Awoba Bob members push through the front and push to the top side. But it's essentially Rocker Academy that have a nice hold here, but it's still the gunfights to be won. Abusa opens it up at least with one. Lucky stays alive. I don't know how that trade didn't come through, but shaking the head, no. It is at least Rocker Academy who get the wipe, and, well, maybe now hitting that 200-point mark can bring this towards win conditions.
You can't win it here. Neither team can win it here, but Awoba would need at least 2 more hills realistically for this one to be put away for Rocker. You're not worried about these last 15 seconds at all. You are more worried about the rotation, and you're more worried about just putting this game away on scrap time alone. That's the benefit of being the first team to cross 200 points, is you can play off the back foot as long as you get 10, 15 seconds a hill. And as long as Lucky goes uncontested, roaming around, and Sukri might meet 2 players in just a moment. Here comes Cobra, bouncing over 1. That nade will slow the push, but Abusa guns him right through the doorway. And Lucky's back up for the reinforcements there for Rocker. You got about 10 seconds, so this one's put in the dirt. That's all 3 dead, possibly 4. Cobra, the only one alive on a 5-3, make it 3 for Lucky. And he is flying and dipping and diving and zooming his way through this final hard point. Metals combining for 2. There's the glide bomb. Yeah, this one is goodbye, done. We'll see you in the game 5. That is an absolute clinic from Rocker, and that is a coming up S&D to put this one on match point. My goodness, 250 to 179.
My goodness, Lucky and Metals just seriously turned up right there at the end, and Metals was seriously, he was holding that mid too, just completely dividing the push, and of course Lucky holding the stairs there on that P5, but man, just right at there at the end too, he just earned streaks. He went on a 7 spree.
Yep.
So really step up from Rocker as the, yeah, of course, Lucky with that sub in hand, just completely dominating them, and of course getting those rotational kills.
We wanted a game 5.
We're going to a game 5. Yeah, we asked for a game 5.
That. Europe, today's a tiebreaker day. I appreciate that they're giving us the goods. And credit to Rocker. I was very high hopes on Awoba Bobs. I was like, okay, they stomped them in the control. Here they come into the hard point. They're going to do the same thing they did in game 1. Control the rotation, control the back spawns, win the game flat out. No, it was Rocker who did all that. I mean, Real, Metals, and Lucky having ridiculous games. Lucky was huge for that roaming Slayer spot. You got Metals constantly in a position to watch those crosses, get those trades. Real, 15 untraded kills. Like, yes, it was a team effort, but it was individuals stepping up in those big moments. And that investment, the game turned from the investment on the streak. As soon as they used the streak and the glide bomb to get the lead, they built that back off of a P2 hill. Then they changed it to P3, and then so on and so on and so on. And Rocker knew that in that moment, if they win that next hill or two, they have this game locked up. And it just seemed like once that streak was called in, Awoba just couldn't get back in this game.
Yeah, no, that's fair, absolutely. Because, like you said, as soon as they did that, they were able to, rotate over to P2, and then they chained that hill, and that's just it's seriously like where it felt like it just completely crumbled for Awobabobs. Like, you constantly had members of Rocker Academy zoning forward, pushing through that rooftop side, and just essentially trapping Awobabobs to the P3, and then they flipped the script. Of course, Lucky early on that rotation too, towards P3, that really just set the pace. And I mean, even then he was starting to streak out there. I think he was on like a 5 streak before he got dropped, but regardless, just getting those early rotational kills and being able to not let Awobabobs this time break you so easily. Rocker Academy able to capitalize on this Tuscan, and of course those subs really stepping up and taking down Jackster. I mean, he's 17 and 26, didn't have the best performance, and Abuza, really surprised to see this because Abuza again has been playing so consistent, so well. It's really kind of just one of those players that if you shut him down, of course, it's going to make it a lot easier cutting down the ARs, but definitely need that AR dominance to just get set up, and Yuza's just getting cut down. But as we head in this Search and Destroy, Spaceman, this is a tough one.
You must choose.
I must choose because I know you're going to ask me.
Yeah.
I'm going to say Rocker.
Okay.
I'm going to say Rocker.
I'm also going to say Rocker. I think that...
You can't copy me.
Yes, I can. No. It's my job. I'm going to... Listen, all right? That way, if I'm wrong, I can blame it on you. Rocker looked very good in Bocage. There are multiple rounds where Jackster tried to create a play, which I give him credit for. It just didn't necessarily work, and Rocker capitalized. Yeah. They did a good job of holding on to the leads they had when it was like a 3v2 or a 4v2. Going into Berlin, I think Metals is going to be a problem. I think Lucky's going to be a problem. We haven't talked a lot about Real, who is an S&D superstar at times, who can absolutely blow a game out of the water. For Awobabobs, I don't think they should go in with their heads down at all. Like, this series has been close, and it's as back and forth as you'd want it to be. But I think Rocker is the better S&D team, and they just have the experience on their side, especially in this position. I don't know. I'm excited to see how it happens.
Yep. No, that's fair. I agree. Especially with Lucky, like I feel like he's been that catalyst to just getting those first blood picks. Him and Metals both. So yeah, Real, S&D Guru, Rocker, they looked strong on this map. I believe even they played Toronto Ultra EU on this map. Berlin, they took them down 6-1. So to be able to do that to that team, it's just it's not looking the best for Awobabobs, but still, regardless, you can't count them out. They're just all good players, and of course, it's going to be interesting. It's going to be interesting to see. It's just really going to be, of course, about those first blood picks, and getting each other's trades and getting in those positions. Hopefully, no crazy single-handedly bomb plays from Jackster or something like that. But no, it's a very different map when it comes to Berlin, of course, as opposed to Bocage. But going to be interesting to see. Just can't wait to get into it, Spaceman. We have another 2 game 5s today. Like, wow, this has been, and this is essentially too. This is for that's the seeding. Well, what is for second? This is for second. This is basically top 3, second or first or third, depending on the other games. But we'll see.
You're at least getting top 3. And that's the big thing, is we make sure we get the lobby ready to go, all the players in. We appreciate your patience. Yeah, this is both these teams currently 4-2 in series count, so mathematically, whoever wins becomes 5-2. And then on that, you have 4th place Rocker, 3rd place Awoba. This is for top 3. Like, this is not just, oh yeah, we won a series, hooray! It's the end of the Elite Series. Top 3 for seeding, going into the playoffs, which would be next week, and then also just aggregating more of an advantage for Boston coming up. So there is a lot here that like means a lot. That is the most redundant sentence of all time. But let's talk a little bit more about Rokkr, as I believe we have some information on them, Ellen. This is an interesting squad because we had talked about them before and how maybe this season has not been as fruitful as seasons past, how this team, after a couple of changes regardless, are looking to get back to those high highs that they had earlier in the year. There's a lot of stock in this team, even though they haven't played great on LAN, even looking to Toronto. Like, talk to me about how they looked in the cup as of late, how they're looking now. Like, I feel like this is a big series for the morale of this team.
Yeah, no, for sure. And just even this most recent cup, and I know it was Kelsey Rooney and co. Like there was a huge upset in the cup, and they didn't even make top 8. So this is just really a time where they need to prove themselves. Like we know that they're a good squad. Obviously, at this point, like you have been playing with Sucre for a little bit. Like you should have a little bit more of establishment. And when it comes to search and destroy, like I'm going to be looking at, of course, Metals maybe just getting some of those first blood picks rushing through mid. I know, he has a tendency to pick up first bloods, but if you're Rokkr Academy, like you just really, really need to capitalize on picks, capitalize on your plays, and just commit to your plays.
Shout out Kelsey Rooney, by the way. She has had a historic rise and meteoric success from like Warzone events only 2-3 years ago, and competitive grinder, the likes of which you rarely see in any region, and she's been absolutely put on a clinic in these cups and in these events. So shout out her, shout out all the competitors who make this possible, and all of our competitors currently in this lobby. Shout out Lucky, by the way, for getting 2 kills early on and putting the Wubble Bobs on the back foot early in this round 1.
Yep, that's for sure. And then Sucre, of course, to follow with a kill. So that is it. The Rokkr Academy, lucky with those first blood kills on the train station. And that's just one of the things. Like you said, Rokkr Academy, they win their search and destroys. They're just that, like, the 2-3-5 team. Not necessarily the best at their hard points, but at least, winning searches. So hot start for them, of course. Lucky picking up 2. And he's on a 3 streak right now. So see, maybe they're... what they decide to do on the attacking side, Awoba Bobs have to answer. And I know they have a tendency to aggressively play towards that B site. We might see that here as Abusa's going to watch the cross, but maybe the stun nade checks towards B happen, but the fakie, it looks like the bomb is going to be rotating towards A.
I wonder if Metals is going to continue to push his POV back towards mid. Or for respectively, his version of mid, which would be in a gunfight versus Brezzy. Now hitting that overextension to the back, looking for the break that would help Rokkr get onto A, but bomb going down, and Metals does pick up the gunfight. So yeah, you're going to have to pull numbers away if you're Awoba, but as that's happening, here comes the pinch from Rokkr. You got 3 onto the site. Abusa, with that stun check, still doesn't have enough information to make a call, but he runs in regardless, checks bomb, loses it because... and Rokkr get the pinch. So that was all set up and executed by Metals. It took a little bit to get going, but once it did, it paid off. You get a pinch, you split the numbers, and the important thing is that no one drops. So regardless if you're working on streaks, you're not feeding kills, but you keep everybody up. It just proves that everybody hit their lane at the right time. The timing was good, and that round was basically perfection from Rokkr.
Yeah, indefinitely. Like you said, Metals going all the way around that pier side. And I'm not sure exactly, like, if there was a call there, because Brezzy did, like, he gave up that positioning to where he wasn't necessarily, tucked away deep in the spot to where he saw Lucky essentially come up from behind him back warehouse. But huge there for Metals. And look, Lucky hasn't even been eliminated yet. So all members of Rokkr Academy are streaked out right now. The bomb is going towards A yet again. And, well... train station, the gunfights do ensue. Metals with the first blood opening onto Traxxer, and I believe Real should get a free plant here. Able to capitalizing again on their plays. It's Rokkr Academy with the full execution and information where Abusa is. Bomb down.
I think, I'm trying to figure out whose nade that was. It might have been Real's. If not, it probably was.
I think he planted.
Yeah, well, no, he threw. Yeah, I was wondering if he threw the nade out, then planted, then threw another, because he did get a check towards pillars, but I was wondering if he was going to challenge that just in case, because he got the hit marker regardless. But he falls off, he plays the bomb, and he gets the kill anyway. So it does work out. Scary situation now, 3-0. But for Rokkr, I mean, anytime you're up with this kind of lead, start to hit cruise control, it can get dangerous. But it seems that they have executed the game plan both defensively and offensively on site very quickly. They're not getting challenged super hard, but when they get bombed down, they fall back in their spots, they wait, and they make the right call.
Yeah, for sure. Lucky's still on a 4 streak too, and Metals even he had that first elimination again, outer stairs. Like Lucky had that bait, and then of course Metals is there for the pickup. So great positioning from Rocker Academy as Jackster may have been spotted there. And Metals with the pre-fire takes down Jackster. Cobra's not there necessarily for the trade, gets tagged up, and now fight ensuing. Mail, the bomb is down for Awobabobs, and Rocker Academy have full control over P2 and Riverside. And you see Sukri's backfire might have an elimination here, but Bressy does get spotted, and he has a sniper in hand, so that might be damaging there for Awobabobs.
And he just has to stay alive long enough. But Sukri and Metals, again, working together. Sukri on a 3 spree. You got Real on a 3 spree. Cobra almost shuts it down, still looking for his first kill. In this situation, with bomb down where it is, you know, if he can't find a pick, if he feels so overwhelmed, try to get off the map. You don't want to feed anybody. Or just stay alive long enough to where the time runs out, because I don't think this is going to be possible. Maybe it is. Maybe it is. Maybe it is. Cobra behind. There is no way. There is no way in a one-on-one from a 1v3. He gets bomb, and he opens the window. Oh my god, did he get through?
Yeah, I might read this. He's on the rotation, but if Cobra gets this plant off, oh my goodness, and he planted for the other side. So realistically, Cobra might just play for Fireside and get in a position to where he can watch his bomb site. But this is very doable.
Uh-oh. Did he get spotted? I don't think so. Oh, he's just leaving? I mean, I like the call so he can watch. Real's on the site. Real's on the site. Oh, that's great read from Real. My God. Oh, the absolute cojones from Real to check the window. You gotta be joking, man. That is a round that is going to hurt for weeks, if not months.
Yeah, Cobra had the positioning too, and he had that post plant setup, but the obvious spot, Real just instantly just knows. And this is one of the things what you said about this guy. Like, he's so good at Search and Destroy. He's just one of those factors that, my goodness, he hasn't even died yet. He's 4-0 right now.
That's the thing. He has rounds like that break you down as a team. It's always one round, just something like that that'll just demoralize you.
Oh. The play from Rocker again is going to swing it over towards A, but Lucky immediately cutting down that first blood again. And you have to worry about Metals on the outside, and Abuser gets taken down. So it is complete A control and a complete breakdown again for Awobabobs on that A site. Bressy last alive in a 1 versus 3, and that bomb has been planted.
Ugh, I don't even know what to say. This has been so lopsided. It's going to be a 5-0, yeah, and that's the thing. Like, don't feed streaks. Don't let them get any extra time for dead silence, even if they had it. Get off the map. Jackster has no kills. Everyone else has, like, 1. And it hasn't been, like, at all that Awoba are throwing. That's not the case. It's not that they're making these grave mistakes. It's just Rocker are playing infinitely better than them right now. And that is the beauty of the esports strateg. One team is clearly playing way better in S&D, and they have read everything on the defensive end. They've made the right plays on offense. They've gotten the first bloods. You got 3 kills. We're in round 6. And you got 3 kills if you're a Woba. It's just nuts.
Yeah. Well, at least that's one way to open it up, at least. Pushing towards the A site. It is Awobabobs. Cobra does get the first pick, but Real at least able to throw utility in and try to stop that plant, which it does stop. But Jackster able to pick up a kill, and you're absolutely right. Rocker Academy has just been doing such a phenomenal job at just even retaking, which might be able to do so here. Plenty of time to work with. Cobra, though, maybe gets a little bit of information where Lucky is and stops the bleeding. A much-needed win for Awobabobs. But my goodness.
Here it comes.
Don't say that.
Here it comes. Wow, it's the worst thing that's gonna happen.
Don't say that. We're not saying a full sale. No. Rocker Academy.
You ever been full sailed, Allie? Ellen.
What?
Wow. You both have gunnies. It's fine. It's a compliment.
Oh gosh. Of course. Who hasn't? I think everybody that got community has been full sailed.
The last time we saw full sail, it was me and Allie, and I asked her that same exact question.
Cute. Of course. But they call me Mrs. 5-5, though. I do win my 5-5s. Jackster opens up the first blood. Oop. Bomb down for Rocker.
I've never been full sailed.
Yes, you have.
No, I haven't. I don't get 5-0'd, okay? I get 6-1'd. It's a big difference.
This is wow. I had to like blink for a second. I was like, did my screen freeze? No one was moving from either side of Rocker Academy or Wobbuffets while that bomb is down for Rocker. But it's really going to be
Jack,
Metals.
Right behind you.
Metals got through. Metals got through. Metals got through the middle, and he got a 2-piece on Nebresi and Jack. So now awaiting in fire. Abusa is at least able to take down Metals, but it's a 2 versus 2. 34 seconds left to get that bomb down. And I mean, look at Cobra. He's not moving at B. And you see the split call from a Wobbuffets for Abusa to go towards A. So Sukri is going to see if he can try to get this bomb down. And Abusa might get timing. He's able to get away. Bomb has been planted.
The Cobra's coming. Does Cobra get caught? Maybe. Maybe not. How did he sneak through? How did Cobra get there? Oh, doesn't matter anyway. Sukri's there. 1v2. Abusa for the series. Has to keep it alive. 26 seconds. Oh my god, he's still doing it. He's still doing it. What a route from Abusa. A 1v1. Lucky on the opposite side. He didn't see him. Lucky's going to get it, and that is going to be that. In game 5, Rocker take it. 6-1. They get the Spaceman special. Look at him go. What a series from Rocker. They lose the opening hardpoint. They get the S&D. They get the control.
That's it. I mean,
and they get the S&D.
Once upon a time, I heard 2-3-5. I mean, or 2. That's just it.
They get 2-4-5.
2-4-5. Rocker. Either which way, they did such a fantastic job there. I mean, their setups just amazing. First bloods, Metals, Lucky, every which way. It's like a Wobbuffets could not stop their A setups like at all.
Let's go to the recaps because, well, Rocker just had a clinical S&D. That was one of the most lopsided S&Ds we've seen all year, and it's not for the fact of, you know, the other team didn't show up. Wobbuffets tried setups. They tried to get themselves positioning on the site offensively, defensively. Rocker just outplayed them through and through, but it started off with a 250-215 win on Berlin for a Wobbuffets in game 1. Rocker responded on S&D in game 2. Then a Wobbuffets had a very clinical and dominant, precise control. Rocker said, screw that. We're taking the hard point. And they carried that momentum right through to the final S&D. As the series went on, I got more lopsided. Like, both teams had their shining moments, but Ellen, I think it's clear to say that Rocker was the much better team today.
Yeah, absolutely. And, you know, I was going to say, at least now you can't blame me for being wrong, because we both got it right. Rocker to take it.
So I can thank you for being right, because you were right. So.
I thank goodness. But no, honestly, they looked so strong. And that's just been one of the factors for them, for Rocker, has been their search and destroys. Hard points, not as strong, but their search and destroys phenomenal. Taking the win here, taking that Bocage, and taking that Berlin. Completely dominant in their setups, and of course, continuing to see what they do in the playoffs. Hopefully this time around they can take it.
That's a big win because both teams, again, were 4-2. Rocker was 4th. Awobo was 3rd. And now things look a little bit different. Here we go. AYM won 3-2 in their first matchup here on mainstream against Katana Gaming. You had Rocker Academy versus Wobbuffets. It was a 3-2 victory again. Both series going to Game 5. That concludes Europe for Day 4 of the final season of the Lead Series. We will not be seeing Europe anymore, and we will be wrapping things up with North America. 705 Esports versus Whatever It Takes. Destroy the Odds versus Iron Blood Gaming. Oh my word. Those are like 2 of the spiciest matchups we could have asked for, and we get them to kind of end tonight's stream and figure out where people will be going into next week. Ellen, closing thoughts before we send this one on its way and we get ready for North America.
Well, it was kind of everything that we expected. I mean, obviously today the games were crazy intense. I expect the same tonight. Really excited to see that 705 and Whatever It Takes match. But couldn't be having more fun here, man. We love Call of Duty, and I'm excited at what North American brings tonight.
Shout out Game 5s. I appreciate you. We appreciate it, and we hope that you guys have enjoyed the action. Again, once more, thank you to our observers, Paradox and John. We love you so much, and thank you to you guys for watching, as well as production for putting this one together. The players getting into the lobbies, and well, it's been a good day of Call of Duty so far. Europe was as exciting as ever. We went to 2 Game 5s in these best of 5s, and it did not disappoint. But coming up after this break, it's North America. We conclude with Day 4 of the final season for Challengers Elite, getting ready for next week's playoffs. You don't want to miss it. We'll see you guys in a little bit.
exhausted, I needed the energy. Needed to pick me up, I'm in your movie, but this is my cinema. I got the power, I'm built to devour anyone coming against me, a tower. I don't care in the pressure, some of y'all leaving here in a stretcher. Took my time to go and get better, I was reading in the red letters. Ay, hit me with your best shot, I got time today. Feeling like a matador with that Red Bull, no, you can't stop me, I'm running my own play. For the game win, I came to pin anything that gets in my way. Been here, done that, you all know what we came for. Been here, done that, you all know what we came for. Energy, 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 I need that energy, 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 I need that. Been here, done that, you all know what we came for. Been here, done that, you all know what we came for. Energy, 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 I need that energy, 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 I need that energy, energy. We been here, we done that, you all know what we came for. You all know what we came for. We been here, we done that. Energy, 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 I need that energy, energy. I'm in the game like EA, been in my prime since pre-K. Shooting my shot from long range, going over heads like a toupee. Treat every day like payday. Y'all been living so mundane. My work week is Sunday to oh wait, that's every day. Putting in overtime, punching the clock, I'ma get what's mine. While everyone's sleeping, I'm living my dreams. I got a coin that's so divine. Lord, take the wheel like 10 and 2. I'm losing energy, I'm overdue. I've been on the top ropes, hitting my pros. Watch me hit the power moves. Been here, done that, you all know what we came for. Been here, done that, you all know what we came for. Energy, 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 I need that energy, 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 I need that.